All right, there we go. Ooh, how are we all doing? It is pretty damn warm here, but it's with the air conditioning on, it's cool enough for me to at least keep my shirt on. So that's an improvement. Although I couldn't be bothered to get the green screen working. I can either have my lights plugged in or have the air conditioning plugged in. I have bought a ring light, which is doing some level of work to light me up, but I could do with a little bit more there. Hello, all. Oh, this water is warm, but it will do. It will do. Good to see you, Broma Sapien. Bring on the elves, absolutely. Same to you, Logan. Wood elves, ooh. Uh, can't believe you're out here mocking me. Saying hi to chat before me. Disgraceful behaviour. Evening, Mr. T-Ball. I pity the queue. Evening, Beowulf. How you doing? Hope you are doing well. Hope I'm not too toasty, existence. I am toasty. I truly, truly am toasty. Alas. But it's not too bad. It's, you know, previously people might have thought that I was exaggerating as to how warm I have been. But now that I have air conditioning and I'm still, like, visibly sweating, I hope that that gives me some level of credence to my prior complaints. Evening, Keith. Keith Leith. Apologies. The heat's got to my brain. It's a brand new day for Fix My List, and you got to be here live. Good to have you, Malkirad. Hope you're doing well. Hope it's a little bit cooler for you over there as opposed to us over here. But the famous European heat wave, yeah, it keeps coming. We had a week's break, and then it came back, and hot topic nowadays. Oh, you salty dog, you dog. I've just realised I've just been so busy being miserably hot that I haven't even considered what the temperature's going to be. We're dropping down to a max of 26 tomorrow. That's not bad. That's not bad. I can deal with that. Dave says, lick and subscribe. Subscribe. The heat's got to him. Dave, are you okay? Someone send that man a drink. Good to have you there. You need to set yourself an alarm, mate. That way you'll remember. Yeah, you say morning, I say evening. Even 30 minutes later than I normally would be. You were dying with me with no AC in at 30-degree heat. Man, that is rough. That is rough. That's obviously what I've done every year up until this point, but it's yeah. Wish you were dropping to that in the south. Leith, you're in the south. I just assumed you lived in Scotland. As an old fat man from the north, you're not built for this. Yeah, I mean, I grew up within 10 miles of the sea in the northeast near Newcastle, and I am also not equipped for anything above. When we get into double digits, that's when I start to sweat. The temps and having a PC going must be delightful. Yeah, that doesn't help. You're not wrong. That doesn't help. Evening, good evening there. I'll be honest, I don't know how to pronounce that. 42 TJAT 42, something along those lines. Yeah. You live in Salisbury. Oh, sorry to hear that. Just to alienate all of the southern viewers. Wouldn't be a northerner if I didn't have some level of misplaced, pride in, being born further up the country than you. The Texas weather has been beautiful. Okay. Texas weather. What are we seeing here? Oh god, that was a massive fumble on my keys there. 32. High humidity as well, apparently. Because you're at 62% humidity, we've been at only 42, which is still pretty miserable. But we're up to the 60s tomorrow though. Grim. Grim, grim, grim. Hey, Remy. You're playing some Wood Elves on Battle Tavern, watching the Mr. Old World himself. I don't feel like I need to give myself a title, but I appreciate that. Hey, Lucas. Which army do you think that had the best buff in the errata? Cathay, by dint of not getting nerfed. or vampire counts if regen turns out to be as stupid as some people think it's going to be. I guess this is as good as any time to have a very brief mention of the the changes to regen and cannons, and what I mean by that is I am waiting to see how things shake out, because right now both of them are theoretically broken in some sort of heinous way. Heinous way. So I'm kind of waiting to see where things fall. I kind of assume that as a community we'll all just go, okay, this is the common sense answer to one or both of them. I don't know how you can common sense answer cannons, unfortunately. I feel like there might just be, like, unless you ignore the FAQ entirely, they might just be literally unfixable without, like, some big homebrewing. But, yeah, cannon changes are just wrong. Like, I can see what they were going for, I think. But I also, at a much more real level, haven't got a fucking clue what they were going for. And the problem is, neither do they. I guess now's a good time to announce that I'll be playing next weekend. I won't be playing with the broken cannon rules, unfortunately, because I have decided it's as good a time as any to get my dwarves done. So I haven't built any models at all, but I did get some 3D prints. A mate just found me some of these miniature cannons, the flame cannons, when we were talking about old models. He's like, oh, do you want me to stick some of those on for you? So I've got some second or third edition flame cannons that I'll be using as dwarf cannons, and I really like the OG, like, well, not OG, like the 6th edition dwarf sculpts. So I've got a box over to my left that I haven't had time to get started on, but yeah, gonna be building a dwarf army and painting it in a week while also pushing out as much content as possible, because that's, I mean, it's been grim, right? Without anything real to talk about for the last sort of 4 months, it's been very difficult to find things that are interesting to do. So I'm really excited to have actual content to do. Hence, 2 uploads a day for the last 4 days. Gonna take a break tomorrow, put something up on Sunday, and then get back to probably just doing one upload a day. Like, put something up on Monday, do a stream on Tuesday, video Wednesday, video Thursday, stream on Friday, and then maybe go back to a more normal release schedule. But we will see. We will see. Someone chucked a new ogres list in there. It doesn't come up, unfortunately. As always, I have the privileged position, the truly fortunate problem of too many people were interested in having their lists fixed. So as always, if you are a channel member, you get priority. So huge thanks to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 channel members who submitted their lists. They get first priority. All of their lists will be in. And then there's 4 people, basically just the first 4 non-channel members got their list looked at as well. If you don't want to become a channel member but want to have your list looked at, do not despair. That is absolutely fine. I don't expect people to support me, although I appreciate it when they do. But given that the way that I do fix my list is if your list was looked at last stream, and this is a new season, so we're refreshing, next week, if you put your list in early, there's a pretty good chance you'll get in, because most of the channel members who are interested in having their lists looked at seem to have done it quite promptly today. Ogre point drops, but not for the real ones. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Chaos Ogre's getting a bit of a drop there. Remy says, are you getting 3 cannons or 6? I only have 3, but TSN has already said they're playing with some like sensible cannon fixes for this event this weekend. It's one of those where obviously people have tickets and are coming to an event about a week and a half after the FAQ drops. So they're doing like a quick fix, and I'm sure that they will have a look at it later on if it needs to be tweaked. But the rules have gone out. I just haven't looked at them, which, to be fair, I haven't built my list yet anyway. So like, I haven't even written the lists. So yeah, that doesn't bother me too much. But I'll probably just go like 2 or 3 cannons. I really want to play the big Thunderer brick. Even though Entrenched got nerfed, I think it's still very good and worth playing around with. And TSN plays all infantry score, not just core infantry. So I think I did also get some of the, I think they're the 4th or 5th edition dwarf miners. It doesn't show up very well. It's just resin there. So I've got some of those as well. Got some of those as well. But yeah. Cool. Do I think that more people will start to play 600-point Battle March games over 500 points now that they've created pre-made 600-point lists? Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's something that people lean towards. I've had a good time playing 500 points, there is a weekend of events that I haven't bought my tickets yet, so I need to pull my finger out and do it. But I think what I want to do is I want to play the 4 foray events that are back to back to back to back weekends in sorry, yeah, back to back days in August. It's like a bank holiday weekend or something like that, and just play 4 different armies, 4 different events. I think that'd be very cool. I think that would be cool. 4th and 5th edition dwarves and mad color schemes. Have I told? Okay. So the way that I'm going to get this army done in time is I'm going to do I'm going to cheat and I'm going to do not a sandstone, a like stone statue style theme. It's something that I've wanted to do for one of my armies for a little while. I did sandstone necrons back in like 8th edition 40k. I really liked how it looked, so I'm gonna bust that out, because I think realistically there's no way that with the amount of like coaching and content that I need to do this week coming, that I'd be able to get an army finished in 7 days. So I need to go with something a little bit more forgiving, I think. Oh, 500 points you can have just one hero, 600 points you can include a hero and a wizard. Guess it depends on the army, right? Emperor Battle March is really weird. They put flagellants in there for some reason. Yeah, they seem to be like weirdly big on flagellants, don't they? Remember the article about a year and a half ago? They're like, dragons? You having issues with dragons? You should run flagellants. Yeah. Is what that is, eh? Okay. Oh, you... I read your comment and then I didn't get to the second part of the comment, which was you going, maybe just to counter dragons in case. You were there already. I recant. Leith, you've just seen the notification before the cutoff today. It's not like it's taken me 3 months to submit it. For TSN, is that Leith? Are you at the event next weekend? Because the list submission would be the Thursday before the event, if that's what we're talking about. I've been added to the event, but I haven't actually. Well, I mean, I haven't written my list, so obviously I haven't even opened the event, or opened the rules pack. Oh, to fix the list. Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you. That makes sense. That makes sense. Hot take: Thunderers are one of the most badass names for a unit in the game. Hey, Mog, I don't want to be rude, but I think that might be a cold take. I think it would be hard to disagree with someone who says, "Well, what's your unit called, Thunderers?" That is pretty sick. I do wish they had better ballistic skill, and they weren't like dwarves. I don't want dwarves to be the like boring gunline faction that I remember them from previous editions, but I also need them to have some level of strength in play. So I'd love for them to have better ballistic skill, but maybe I don't know how you fix dwarves, honestly. Like I feel like it's not an easy like 1-2 change to make them better. Flagellants are the perfect counter to everything in the game according to Games Workshop. I think they said specifically dragons. And by transient property, they counter cannons as well, because cannons counter dragons. So if you can beat dragons, you can probably beat the thing that beats them. It's not how it works at all, but let's just be silly. You're not back up until September for Heresy. Yeah, people have been having a good time with Heresy. I have heard that it is a fun game. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe there are no missions, which is a slight issue. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty good. Drilled and 4 times movement for dwarves and marching column. Yeah, like I seem to remember in previous editions that all dwarves were able to march, and that's something that obviously doesn't exist in the game right now. So maybe that would be something that would be an interesting way to fix them in some regard. Because if you're only moving 3, but you're always able to move 6, and you don't have to test, that could be interesting. But then I think with the way that charging for infantry works in this game, basically we just need to retool the entire Swift Stride and infantry charging mechanic. Like the more I play, the more I'm like, get rid of Swift Stride and go back to a version of charging where you just measure the distance between the 2 units and you don't have to pay for like any sort of massive wheel. What if we put a flagellant on a dragon? That is a sick idea. I would love to see a flagellant riding a dragon. Yeah, just some sort of like make it built in so it has the same rules as the flagellant, but it's less controllable. Or I don't know. It's probably got to have impetuous or something. The rune of Grognard that makes them have to charge makes others have to charge them more. That feels yeah, like a one of those pieces of game design that's unfun for the people who are playing against them, and people generally don't like dwarves. Dave, that's going in the book. Dave, that's unacceptable. Have a word with yourself. If you get a flatulent on dragon, you'd have almost the same stats as our combat characters. Well, I mean, true. Flatulent unit champion. You'd gain a dragon, so that would be huge. That'd be huge. The missions are more like guidelines, though. Rob, Toby, and Rebecca made some good missions. Yeah, I have heard that the events work well at the TSN for Heresy, but there are no like actual missions that functionally work, which is a bit of a problem, you know. Why is it so hard for me to drink through this straw? I swear it wasn't before. Is this it? Am I shuffling off my mortal coil? And I no longer have the strength even to drink water. I might just take the lid off this bottle for now and just glug it like some sort of savage. Swift Stride is bonkers. Yeah, I really enjoyed it back when I was the one playing dragons, and now that I've branched out and played a bit of everything, I'm pretty infantry pilled. All right. Well, good to have a wee catch up there. Let's get into it. So as a reminder, in case, maybe I'll put a timestamp in. I should maybe start doing that. It's just another job to remember. But for anyone who is joining the stream or is watching this back as playback and is curious as to how you get your lists fixed, the way it works is roughly 10 a.m. British time. So right now it's BST. Then you... Oh, shit. Thank you so much, Beowulf. That's very kind of you. I really appreciate that. And this is going to feed into what I'm going to say. So in fact, I will say thank you properly in a second. What I was going to say is the way that it works is that the Discord, I open the channel, the Discord's linked down below, it's free to everyone's access, and you submit your list, and if you are, the criteria for how you get your list selected is in the channel, but I don't look at the same person's list week on week, unless there's no one else's lists to have a look at, so you're likely to get in. And channel members do get priority on Fix My List as a thank you for the support that they give me. So, if you're one of the 10 people that Beowulf has very kindly just given a month subscription to, thank you so much again, then feel free to head over to the Discord and post in the Needs Role channel. I will apply your role in there, and yeah, you'll have priority next week on the fixing of the lists. At some point, I'll be able to link YouTube and Discord, but it is driving me to literal insanity every time I try. So there is unfortunately nothing I can do about that. So we'll go from there. All right, cool. Let's start off with. I mean, I think he might be here. Let's start off with Beowulf's Bretonnians list. Let me just have a look. Was there any? I feel like there was some context given here for Brett's. The name of the list was Musalon, because I know you've been trying to make a Musalon-themed list. No description there. Love it. It's all down to my whims, my favourite. So, Bretts are in an interesting spot. I did Vampire Bretts, baby. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm a little annoyed that I made my own Bretonnian army, because I was talking about doing, like, a half Vampire Counts, half Bretts army for, like, 6 or 8 months before I got round to doing Bretts, and then I just did them as a normal army anyway, so I messed up there. However, let's have a look at this Brett list. So, Bretts are in an interesting place. I think they're not in a bad spot. Even though Pegasus Knights got nerfed, I actually think they're pretty okay. And on top of that, I kind of feel like they might be better than they were, because a lot of things that were good into them have been nerfed. They don't like shooting, so Nuln is now going to be probably less prevalent. You can hide against the cannons. Like, if you're playing against Nuln, the version of Nuln you can see now is like heavier on war machines, and Bretts can avoid the shooting from war machines and then send some stuff up the field to try and deal with enemy shooting, depending on how they structure their list. Obviously, Cathay is still good into them, but what are you going to do? But you've got some playing to Cathay. I'm sure I'll talk about that more at a later point. Beastmen are probably still going to be decent. Like, I think the Wild Herd list is still good. You'll see more people running the Summoning over Viletide, which I think is maybe something people should have been doing anyway. So I think that list is probably still decent. But but it doesn't have the sort of catch-all I nuke like dragons and stuff. So I think it does lose some strength there. But like I think the armies that were good into Brett's got worse, and there were some interesting buffs to Brett's in the FAQ, and the nerf to them with the Pegasus Knights is a big nerf, but they're still very good and they're still very mobile. I just wish that they had said, actually, you don't get Swift Stride, go back into Lance formation. That would work quite nicely. Yeah, sorry, Remy. Like, Nuln might be the only army that got squatted. Like, did any other army, like, unless I'm forgetting something, did any other army just get told, no, you're not allowed to play the game competitively? I think it might have just been Nuln. It was a pretty miserable list to play against, to be fair. Which, like, for tournaments is whatever, but if you're trying to make your game more enjoyable across the board, I kind of get it. Okay, so, first of all, how have you built your list out? You've got some Peasant Bowmen, you've got Knights of the Realm, you've got Men-at-Arms, Pegasus Knights, Squires, Mounted Yeomen. Why the Mounted Yeomen? For the Prophetess? For the Prophetess, okay, interesting. I don't hate that. I do not hate that. Cool. I think there is a very good chance that, because right now you've gone like mega into the Death Star, you've got 8 models in that unit of Pegasus Knights. I think maybe we just don't do that. Like, maybe that's overkill. I feel like you maybe just go one character that goes in the unit, and like, unless we see Death Stars really coming to the fore, I think you don't need to index so heavily into the Death Star. So like, I don't mind the 5 Pegasus Knights, although maybe going for an even number is better, but I don't think you need 2 combat characters in there. I'd be more interested in doing something more interesting with the second one. So, for my money, I think I'd go Ogre Blade and Syrian's Locket on the Duke. I think that is just like a take-all-comers. This will do very well into basically anything in the game. You had Potion on Speed in there. I think it's fine. You've got immune to multi-wounds, so there shouldn't be anything that can kill you before you can strike with 5 wounds and, 3 up save, 5 up ward. The only thing I sort of worry about is the enemy Chaos Lord Initiative 6 with countercharge on Demonic Steed, but because they don't have immune to multiple wounds and you do, they shouldn't kill you first, so I think that's okay. What else? And also they might have strikes last, so like at that point we don't even need the Potion of Speed, right? Doesn't make a difference. So this is just a good take-all-comers army. Glad I painted base this army in 3 days in time for my event this Saturday. Well, okay, so let's look at this in a slightly different lens then, which will try and keep the models the same, but I'll tweak the loadouts, because I actually think the list is not bad. I don't know if you need MR2 on a Paladin anymore. You might actually not need this. However, given that we're very early into the meta, we're kind of just sitting here and going like, what are things going to look like? How is the meta going to shape up? Having the MR and the turn off stand and shoot gives you a lot of sort of flexibility of like, oh, I'll probably be fine into most things. If they have spells, I'm good against spells. If they have if they have shooting, stand and shoot, I'm good against that. And then there's also the virtue of the Impetuous Knight. I think we can drop that. Like, it's nice to have, but I don't know that we need to outrange things anywhere near as aggressively as we did previously. Like, before I was like, oh, you need the extra range, because otherwise the Beastman player is going to play footsie with you, and it's really annoying. I'm much less worried about that now. And also with the vision changes, I think you're more likely to want to focus on killing the slower stuff that you can catch is maybe going to be more frequently your goal, as opposed to trying to go for the really long bomb charges. It is nice to give you consistency, but I think we can save points here. Baron, obviously we're not going Ogre Blade, Knightly Temper. I think I want, like, if I think about what beats Bretonnians now, I think it's cannons, and you can hide early against cannons, but you need something to go and like shut them down. So I think what I'd like to see is just like a cheap Baron, Barded Pegasus, and let's give them... Normally I'd give them Syrian's Locket, but we've gone for that on the Duke to make sure that they don't just get flattened, because you can also run the Duke out. If you're into like a full shooting list, you can run the Duke out solo as well. And then let's go Icon of Fortitude and Grommel Greathelm, and that gives you the ability to get in and just smush something that needs to be smushed. in terms of cannons, because you're immune to multiple wounds, and you've got a 2-up save rerolling 1s, so you're very likely to be able to get up the board in the matchups that you need to. And worst case scenario, you're just a better Pegasus Knight. Like, you can join this unit here, you can soak a challenge if needs be, you're not super worried, and like, oh, okay, unit champion, well, I guess I'll get my 4 attacks into them, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s from Totem of Wrath, whatever, all that's good. Okay, so that's all fine there. The Prophetess, I don't hate a Prophetess, but I wonder if I'd be more interested in having them in the Knights of the Realm. How many would you need to get another rank bonus? 11 is good because it obviously puts one model on the back of the lance. So you've got one full rank of 4, and then you've got a model behind it. The reason that's good is if you charge a dragon and you challenge them, then you can win on combat res because you still have the rank. You've got the lance. You've got the whatever, the banner. I'm going to change this Monster Hunter's Tapestry over to a war banner because I think that's more useful. I don't think you need to protect this unit against dragons particularly. Either you win because you charge them and you're in a challenge, or you lose because they charge you in the flank and you're not in a challenge, and things have all gone wrong anyway. So I think the anti-stomp banner doesn't make much difference there. But yeah, this Prophetess, I think I like the Prophetess in this unit of Knights of the Realm more, which bumps them up to 11 models. So, you've already got the Barded Warhorse on there, which is the one that can join the unit, so that's great. So we've got the Men-at-Arms, Full Command, Blessed Triptych. Blessed Triptych, prior to the FAQ, the model gave the unit Stubborn, but you could kill the unit champion. Now you just get Stubborn, even if the unit champion dies. And by unit champion, I mean Grell Monk. It's the secondary unit champion. So I think Blessed Triptych is an absolute auto-take if you are taking any reasonable size Men-at-Arms. Triple Peasants is good. Unit champions are... I think unit champions are kind of whatever. I would not bother with them and just go for an extra model or something like that, or just save some points, because you're not getting additional leadership, and you're a skirmish unit, so you're probably not winning on combat res. Like, all you've got is infantry outnumber if you're charged by a dragon. So I think you probably wouldn't bother too much. Yeah, I think I'd save some points there, and we'll see if we need to spend the points anywhere else. We can round that out. 5 Pegasus Knights, I think even numbers are good. So 5 plus 2 characters, sorry, odd numbers are good for being able to see, more than 50% of them have to be able to see the enemy. 5 plus 2 characters in most matchups puts you at 7. It's like a big beefy unit. I think that's probably perfectly useful. This is Grand Army, isn't it? Yep, so Squires are not awful. Mounted Yeomen, I don't think there's much value to Mounted Yeomen here, or there's not as much value, I should say. I guess they're not awful. You can put them down as an early drop, but I think if we're doing that, let's give them a unit champion and musician. Wait, we don't need the unit champion at all. Let's give them a musician, so they're more likely to rally. You've given them Feigned Flight after all, which gives you an auto rally on the Flea and the Fire Flea, but not on just sort of you've fled from a panic test or anything like that. And with Leadership 6, you're gonna want all the help you can get. Okay. So that leaves us with 52 points. What are we going for 52 points? I'd love to see... I still don't mind Icon of Quenelles in here, although actually I'd maybe be tempted to change this to Illusion. So Prayer Icon's cool. Hopefully we're less worried about the bonuses to Dispelling. And the army that still worries me about Dispelling has short-range spells in that it's Cathay with Spectral Doppelganger, so the Prayer Icon actually doesn't help. I think, let's say, go Illusion... Go with the Sword of the Stout-Hearted. It's a very cheap, not quite, but almost great weapon. Lore Familiar Power Scroll, take Illusion, take Spectral Doppelganger, take Glittering Robes, and then also take either Column of Crystal or Miasmic Mirage. Both of those are absolutely fine. And it adds some real genuine punch to the Knights of the Realm. The -1 to hit is quite nice in keeping them alive. The Spectral Doppelganger, if it goes off, is genuinely punchy. Strength 5 AP1 is good into a lot of targets. And yeah, you've still got the MR2 on the unit as well, which is really nice. And you've got the Dispel of a level 3 wizard. And that takes us to basically perfect points. So without changing anything, so you don't have to tweak your models, although I think I like this list in general, I don't think I'd necessarily tweak it around too much. Yeah. There we go. Just change the loadouts on them. Bish bash bosh, jobs are good. Cody says, I wish the Shadow Dancer had gotten the strength increase as well. Yeah, that's fair. Strength 4 to 5 would be nice. But honestly, it's wild that War Dancer's got strength 4. Like, it's probably, it doesn't really make much sense as far as elves go. It's great. I love it. I'm a huge fan. But I don't really understand thematically why it happens. Where new regen is new regen is open to a couple of different interpretations. So I'm holding off on that. I haven't been reading, but I've seen that lots of people have been debating it, and through the very quick skimming, it seemed like some pretty like reasonably fair discussion about it. So, fair play to you. Okay, okie dokie. Who else is here in terms of list submission? I saw Leith earlier. Let's have a look at Leith's list because I haven't even looked at it. What did I do with? Let's move this one up to the top. There we go. Okay, so Leith's Warriors of Chaos. Had this in mind since we talked in April. Would like to hear your thoughts and what you would change. Plans for the characters to go in the Chosen blob, 6x3 ideally. Prefer the Chosen over the Warriors for the double trait and stubborn when lose. So something that's key to note here is this is for the TSN arena, right, Leith? I think. So this will be Chosen specifically will be scoring at this event, which is different and makes them more worthwhile considering. So the characters go in the Chosen blob 6x3, so you've got 18 models. Are you going all 3 in there? Are we going for like a full Death Star? That's funny if so. What's the list looking like? So single giant spawn of Nurgle. I'd like 2, but 1's not awful. It's a pretty cheap throwaway unit. So that's pretty reasonable. You say yes. Perfect. You've got the Marauder Horsemen, who are unit champion, musician, cav spears, light armor, shields, and ambushes and skirmish. Love that. Ooh, almost. Definitely want to give them a natural fortitude. Just getting to toughness 4 on these units is really nice. I know it makes them more expensive, but it does make them much more of a pain in the backside to get rid of. The Marauders already have unnatural fortitude. You've given them full command, banner of swirling winds, hand weapons, shields, close order, unnatural fortitude. Yeah, that looks good. I don't know that I care so much about banner of swirling winds. And I assume you've given the other one Icon of Darkness. Yeah, they're both -1 to be shot. I don't feel like ballistic skill shooting is something that massively worries you with this list. I think we could maybe shave the points off here. Yeah, like that's 50 points that I think we probably don't need to worry about too much. I'd be more tempted to like tuck them in behind another unit or another, a piece of terrain or something similar to that. But yeah, I think you can probably get away without the -1 to be shot, and maybe 1 in the 5 games you'll wish you had it, but the other 4 games you'll be like, oh, I've got more points because my opponent's army doesn't have much ballistic skill shooting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Wood Elves are going to bring like loads of ballistic skill shooting. But do they bring Way Watchers now? Because now that you can bring Way Stalkers and have them be much more valuable, it unlocks the Way Watchers a lot more. Not sure. Anyway, okay, let's have a look. So you've gone full infantry Death Star, which I respect. It is full send. You've gone level 4 Wizard Demonology, Spell Familiar, Favor of the Gods, Scepter of Power. I can't remember what Scepter of Power does. It's a less used item, I think. You can add +1 to your casting order spell rolls. If you roll any natural double, you take a Strength 10 AP3 hit instead. Okay. Is there a reason not to go Skull of Catan? I mean, you don't get it to the spell rolls, to be fair. But this is... It doesn't stop you from casting and it doesn't break. I think I'd like the Skull of Catan more, because I think being able to stop your opponent casting is nice, but I feel like you more are interested in doing what you want to do as opposed to really caring too heavily about your opponent's spell casting. There are some exceptions, but I think I'd rather just have MR2 on the unit and not worry about the +2 spelling. Why are Way Watchers so more valuable? It's the reason. Well, one of the reasons you didn't say Way Watchers before was because they were gated behind the Way Stalkers, and the Way Stalkers couldn't use their sniping attack with magic weapons. So that's now that you can take the Waystalker and feel good about doing it, it opens up the Waywatchers, and the Waywatchers ignore cover inherently and are just better, like have higher ballistic skill. They're not as good as Sisters of Avalon, but they are interesting in any way. The changes to skirmishes and shooting help as well, yeah. Although, I'll be honest, I think a lot of Wood Elf players probably played it that way anyway. Just, for the sake of speed. Like, because the thing is, if you're moving your unit anyway, you can usually / always present it so that you're not taking hit penalties. So all it's really doing is freeing up admin and stopping newer players from being screwed over by not understanding positioning. FAQ stops you from running unlimited Glade Guard. Yep, good. That was a heinous thing to exist. Okay, so the Chosen. Undivided. Yeah, I think Undivided is probably better here, even though it is with the Nurgle character and you're trying to give it the +1 toughness. Enchants, Reflexes, Dark Arts. I like both of those. I think those are both fine. Dark Arts is the -1 leadership, right? Yeah, is there a way to... I can't remember if there's a way to give a character terror. Dark Majesty? No, it's if you make a Fear and Terror test. I don't think there's a way to make a character cause terror. Unless I forget. I forgot. This is interesting on a demonic steed character. No, I guess not. Alright, cool. So there's no way to like really double down on that. I think that's okay. That's fine. In terms of weapons, like you've already got a lot of attacks. I am a big fan of any time you're already bringing lots of attacks, leaning into the Ogre Blade over the Cackling Blade. I didn't talk about this with Beowulf's list, but it's the same reason I changed the Duke instead of just taking the Cackling Blade. Cackling Blade will be better into like some very specific targets, but Ogre Blade, when you've got 5 attacks with the potential for more, like you've got 6 attacks here. The Duke has 5 attacks plus D3 on the charge plus Hatred, so like you're both sort of kicking around with incredible stat lines. The value of plus D6 attacks at a worse weapon is lower on this character. You'll get the most out of it on like an Empire 3 attack Lord or something, because your baseline attacks are so low. Anyway, so I like the Ogre Blade. You've got Brazen Color, Favor of the Gods. I think we drop the we drop the Brazen Collar here so we can get the Favor of the Gods. I don't hate the way round you had it, but just because we've changed the weapon, we need to change that as well. Then the Sorcerer Lord has Spell Familiar, Favor of the Gods, Gullick Tam. I think we can put the Brazen Collar here, which is a little bit of a flavor fail because it is obviously corn themed, but you can do that, so let's do that. You've got Enchanting Aura on the character there, and then you've got the Exalted Champion. Banner of the Steadfast. I don't think I'm paying 50 points for this effect. I think I'm not losing combat. Like if I'm bringing this unit and there are new rules where I get like actual step up when I'm charged, and I've got the strikes last and enhanced reflexes combo, why am I losing combat with this unit? Like I should just position better, and I want to double down on making sure I can get to where I want to be. That would be my sales pitch for that. So have you got the Monster Hunter Tapestry in there as well? Yeah, you have. Cool. I'd be tempted. So for the sake of the 50 points you spent there, what if we went Icon of Darkness, and then we also gave you... Oh, you've already got Diabolic Splendor. Very cool. So this puts you at -2 to be shot by Ballistic Skill Shooting. I know I just said for the last list, no, it was even for this list, sorry, the Marauders. I was like, hey, you don't need minus to be shot. If they're going to shoot anything, they're going to shoot the Chosen. So I think putting the minuses to hit there is very good. You've seen my dice. No, Leith, I've seen your decision making. That's so rude. I apologize. I immediately recant that, and that was very rude of me. But you're going to Steed of Shadows this unit up into like the target that you look at in deployment, and you've picked, and I think that makes the list. I don't want to say plays itself, because that I don't think you're a bad player. That's it's coming across much more harsh than I intended it to. But it makes it more... Yeah, it's more linear in like the game plan that you're going for, which makes it more easy to make good decisions off that. Both are valid. Nah, I'm gonna walk that back. I think you were held back by your list choice when we played more than your playability. Um, and while the list was fun, for anyone who doesn't know, Leith was running 4 units of Chaos Warriors. I think some of them are chosen and some of them warriors, if I remember correctly. But it was like squads of 10 models and then attached characters. So it was like very cool, and you had like all 4 gods. But in terms of ability to do anything, it was pretty limited. You do need a list that plays itself. I can do that for you. I can do that for you. Just don't lose combat. I genuinely don't know how this list, like in a fair fight, if you have positioned well so that your opponent is taking front on charges into you, your initiative 6, they are strikes last. So even with elven reflexes, they're striking after you. You have characters plus all of those chosen with 2 attacks at the front, a second rank of chosen with hand weapons. You're just going to rip through them. Doesn't a character still get lookout, sir, against the Waywatcher's Hawkeye shots? Yes, that is correct. And as 42 says, it ignores the lone character restrictions. But sometimes you can also you can snipe a wizard. True, you can snipe banshees. Banshees are great. And the VC matchup has been one that's been difficult for a while for Wood Elves. Although with War Dancers, it becomes eminently more playable. Yeah, that was in the FAQ. But also, like, sometimes you're just like, I've got nothing else to shoot. I'll just have a pot shot at killing your character. And, 1 in 6 times, they'll fail that lookout, so it happens more than you think, as someone who's been on the receiving end of having characters sniped by cannons more than I'd like. Alright. Yeah, this looks good. Looks good to theme. We didn't even look at this character. You went Taskmaster Scourge, which I like. Favor of the Gods, Crown of Everlasting Conquest. Great, yeah. Like, all of this is good. I really like what you've gone for. You haven't gone for Enhanced Reflexes because you don't have a hand weapon. That makes sense. Dark Hearts, does it have to be every model, or it's just majority? Yep, that's fine. You don't... Every model, yeah. There's not anything here that's worth going for. Yeah, like, I think this is good. I like all of the things here that you've gone for, and it's literally just 42 points left, so... I mean... 2 more, and then drop like a Marauder or something. Something like that. Maybe I forgot that Marauder's 9 points a model. Don't really want to drop that. Maybe it's just you go to 16 and then you add, I don't know, 2 Marauders or something like that. You could give them magic resist as well, but I also just think maybe keep them a little bit more cheap and cheerful, even though we're paying for the toughness. But yeah, something like this I think looks very good. And it doesn't mess around with your list too much in terms of models. Would be lovely if Wood Elves had magic bows as good as High Elves. I know, it's so sad, isn't it? It is so sad. Or the Empire bow, yeah, 100%. 100%. Stupid Empire and High Elves getting better bows. I think that's, yeah, that is a shame. But yeah, there we go, Leith. Hopefully that is helpful. Okie dokie. Who else have I seen in chat? Let's have a look here. Just scrolling up. You know what? I might just have to pick one. Let's just pick one. And then let's go with... It's not how magical bows you are, it's how evasive your bows are. Well, yes, but also no. Because over the 6 turns, you do have to kill some stuff. So this is Ed's list, and more uses named Ed says, looking for a relatively brain-dead list for LGT. Okay, cool. So you've gone triple dragon ogre, or triple dragons, and I wonder if you've put this in to trip me up, or if you've just missed that you can't do single dragon ogres. Because I feel like that's the sort of thing you would do to try and trip me up with being like, here's something that no longer works. I think triple dragon still works. I think it is fine. I think it is a little bit worse than it was in terms of your maneuverability. But yeah, it's it's not bad. It's still like a full send stat check list, and I like that, and I like some of the decisions you've gone for here. So we're going to keep this very similar, and I'm just going to tweak around with it. If you're going for this list, the reason you go for the Chaos Lord over the Exalted Champion is because the dragons are impetuous. Now, if you're not full sending, impetuous is a problem. If you are full sending, impetuous, not a problem. So I would say, especially given that you can't have good magic resist, you can't have a regen on here, you're limited on your favors of the gods, you're limited on marks, I think the Chaos Lord is way less valuable than the second Exalted Champion. So I would say go double Exalted Champion and just get the value of that there. Although, let's go Mark and Nurgle on both of these. If we're doing marks, Mark and Nurgle is very good, because then we've got points for... Okay, so you've gone for Armor of Meteoric Iron. I think that's overkill, honestly. Especially in the list you submitted, where theoretically one model had like incredible triple saves and the other one had basically just like 1.5 saves. Your Chaos Lord would have died very quickly. I think just the standard one regen item, double favor of the gods, and then a brazen collar as well. That's just like, it's a classic for a reason. It works very well. You haven't given them shields, have you? Nope. Good. I wondered if you might try and trip me up with that. So then the other one, Crown of Everlasting Conquest. So basically, both exactly the same. Oops, I haven't given it the brazen collar. Brazen collar. Yep, there we go. These two, I think, would just do more work for you than the Chaos Lord does. You lose a point of toughness, you gain a regen. If you're full sending forwards, it's... Yeah. Okay. Into core, you've got Chaos Knights and you've got Marauder Horsemen. I don't hate this 2 unit of 4 Khorne. Generally, I like bigger units, but if you're going throwaway Khorne, like just I want to hit something units, I don't hate that at all. I was wondering whether it was worth giving up the unit champions, because the unit champions mean that if you charge, you can get challenged. Like, if you're frenzied, you can get challenged out by enemy dragons and stuff like that. But, I mean, you're not going to do that much damage to the dragon anyway. So I don't think it makes that much difference. And by having a champion, you can support these dragons and you can be like a challenge buddy. So I think we'll leave the champions on. Although I'll be honest, I do kind of flip-flop on whether I feel like that is correct most of the time. I'm not 100% sure where I stand on that one. I think it can, like, both sides have benefits, but let's just make sure we're giving them lances and shields as opposed to just hand weapons, because otherwise you're going to have 2 strength 4 AP 1 hand weapon attacks, which is not great. Cool. So, chaotic traits as well. It does get a little bit pricey, but I think it's worth putting Dark Hearts in. So, giving them -1 to their leadership test is really nice because it makes them much more likely to flee from combat. And if you're comboing it with the terror-causing dragons, suddenly your opponent's losing combat and testing at -2 on their leadership, which means they are significantly more likely to flee. Leadership 8 is like kind of the standard that you see a lot of the time. So dropping that to leadership 6 means that they're failing their leadership tests like over 50% of the time. So I think that's definitely one to squeeze in if you can, and it doesn't actually make the unit that much more expensive. Your units were 122 points. These were 134. It doesn't really make that much difference there. Dragon Ogres, unfortunately, are no longer legal as squads of 1. You can only run them in 2 to 9, which, like, there is play to them if you run them solo, but I was never a huge fan of them. Or I wasn't post-FAQ. Like, post-FAQ. I wasn't post-match play guide. I felt like they lost a lot of their utility when 100 points more into scoring would have been interesting. Other than that, I think what I would do here is you've got Unit Champion Musician, that's fine, Flails, and they want to be skirmishers. Like, you're just going to get more... It's much easier to play them if they're skirmishers, basically. There's not really any benefit to open order, I think, for this unit, other than you can go wide and hit single models, but if you're having skirmish, you can... Like, it's very easy to play them if they've got skirmish. I think it's better, but I also think it makes it more simple to play. I'd also pay to give them skirmishers as well, but I also think you probably just go like 2 units of 6. Like, you don't need to go 2 units of 8, and you've given them Unnatural Fortitude already. Love that. You can give them throwing axes. I'm kind of on the fence on those. Like, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It is what it is. And then we've got some points here. I think if you want to have a list that plays itself, one of the things that you want to do, just make sure you bring a unit that stands on a home field objective. And Marauders do that better than anything else in your list. So if we're going to go unit champion, give them shields, how many can we fit in? 12 is not that many. Maybe we have to drop a natural fortitude to fit it in. I'd much rather have a natural fortitude, but if we can get 16 of them by dropping a point somewhere else, that would be nice. That would be nice. What if we go... They are like regular infantry, aren't they? They're not heavy infantry, and I've just forgotten. No. Okay, so 20 would be better. Actually, 6... No, because they have Horde, right? Yeah, so I'd like 21. If we drop the unit champions here, because I was on the fence about that anyway. And then, how many can we go up to? Still only 17. 17's not awful. Maybe if we're going that big, we'll give them a unit champion and a musician and just go 16 of them. It's not like a amazing hold the backfield against anything unit, but it's cheap-ish, and it'll hold unless someone pressures you. And because you're putting 2 units of core knights, 3 dragons in their face, this unit should hopefully rack you up some points for free, basically. Drop 1 favor of the gods over my dead body. That's a fair suggestion, but 2 is really good. If you're playing Warriors of Chaos, or if you're thinking about playing Warriors of Chaos, 2 Favors of the Gods is as low as I'd go on a combat character. The reason for that is the second you roll Stupidity on the Gaze of the Gods table, which is the 1 on the 1d6, you then lose the ability to roll safely because you've already used your reroll. So having 2, like it's unlucky if you roll 2 Stupidities across the course of the game. And you probably won't get it until like turn 4 or turn 5, something like that. So you're probably okay. But yeah, this looks... Oops, oh, don't delete. Almost pressed the wrong button. There we go. Bish, bash, bosh. Lovely stuff. Nice, easy one. We've had double Warriors of Chaos. We should break things up. The next one that is, like, just in terms of order, is another Warriors of Chaos list. It's a Heralds of Darkness list, but I think we should look at our first Wood Elves list. Let's do that. Let's do that. So Ross has submitted a Wood Elf list. Sorry to be late. You had a coffee date. No worries, Papa Wheelie. There is no expectation that you're here at all.
Do you think 2 level 3 Sorcerer Lords, Favor plus Sword of Striking, on Chaos Dragons and a Warp Fire could work for a middle tier player like me in the GTs?
Thanks, Cthulhu. Appreciate the donation there. I think Sorcerer Lords are really sad as dragons. Let's, like, just very quickly, and to illustrate the points. So, they are roughly the same... No, they're exactly the same points as a Chaos Lord. As a level 3 wizard, you don't really get anything exciting. Like, in terms of if I'm on a dragon, what am I excited about? I guess maybe the Nurgle spell, giving you +1 toughness, but that only gets you to T6, because you're baseline T5. So, Chaos Dragon... Sorcerer Lord is so pricey. It's as pricey as a Chaos Lord, but you don't have the hitting power of the Chaos Lord on top. You don't have the durability of the Exalted Champion with the regen, and you don't really bring anything different. I would be tempted, if you wanted to run a Sorcerer Lord, maybe a Manticore would be an interesting way of doing it. Like, I don't think this is an objectively great way of doing things, to be clear. You are... because Manticores don't give you plus toughness, right, for Chaos? Yeah, so your toughness 4, you are 7 wounds, but your toughness 4, which is not great, but you're 2/3 the points baseline compared to the dragon, which is T5, and you've still got 9 wounds. Give them a regen item, give them some sort of, like, fun magical shenanigans, and then that way you could run a wizard on a dragon, which, you know, the Manticore, and you'd be able to do something more interesting. The casters they have are good casters, and they have access to good items, but baseline they don't really get anything other than some vaguely interesting laws which kind of don't suit you being on the back of a dragon, and a built-in ward save, which is nice. That is good, but you're paying a lot for that, and the dragon itself is quite expensive as well. So wizards on dragons are now quite hard to pull off now that there's a 500 point cap. But yeah, like a Sorcerer Lord, if you wanted to go Sorcerer Lord with Manticore, what would I give them? You can't go Spectral Doppelganger, so you can't be useful that way. The Manticore doesn't hit very hard at all. I'd give them the regen, that's for sure. I don't really know what I'd go for, honestly. Maybe just like a full pressure Infernal Puppet. So, yes, they're not the tankiest or the hittiest, but you can just be in the middle of things. You can be near their wizards and make them more likely to, fail their spell or to miscast. Maybe that's the way to do it. I don't love it as a plan. I think it doesn't lean into Chaos's strengths at all, unfortunately. I'm not really sure what I'd do. I like wizards for Chaos. I like dragons for Chaos. I think the combination of the two is a little bit sad. I'd be more tempted if you wanted to play something that wasn't like just playing the same 3-dragon list, although I think there are more options now post FAQ. You could do something like run 1 dragon, run a Warpfire dragon, and then do something interesting with a sorcerer on foot, and cavalry would maybe be a more interesting way to run that. But yeah, wizards for Warriors of Chaos are either usually like blaster casters or support pieces, and they do those jobs very well, and they have the items to support it, but they don't really do combat mage super well, which is a shame. Is Galrak crap? He's not great, but he's better than a Sorcerer Lord on Dragon, I think. He is T6. He's only got 6 wounds, so you're losing out there. You've got I'm pretty sure you've got a layered save. If you've got a 5-up ward save, he must have a 5-up ward save. He's got a 3-up armor save between the full plate and the armored hide. Spirit of Galrak. Oh, I forgot. He's got like stupidity, or bizarre stupidity. Does he really not have a ward save? Huh. He doesn't have a ward save. Damn, Galrak. The only big Chaos character not to. That's pretty rough. Huh. Dark magic is also not a great lore. Like, if you can go demonology, if you can consistently get demonic vessel, that can make you a more interesting caster. But like, even when I was doing this as I tried it as Dark Elves with demonic vessel, it didn't actually bring any real value in my mind. I was bringing it because I wanted the dispel threat, but it was still a worse combat character most of the time than the Lord on Dragon, because you had less, like, worse saves and stuff like that, and worse weapon skill. Yeah. Forgot about that thing where you lose control of him. What's his leadership again? 9. So it's 1 in 12 that you lose leadership? No. 10 is worse, right? It's 12, 11. Oh, it's 1 in 6. So roughly once a game you will lose control. Once you lose control, it's the Spirit of Golrak, isn't it? You become a level 1 wizard, you become random movement 2d6, and you have to hit yourself if you're in combat a little bit. But like, random movement 2d6 is like obviously bad. There are some times where that's not awful because it stops your opponent from fleeing or standing and shooting. I think if you just play very aggressively, it would be like a mediocre model. I'd rather have a Warpfire Dragon. There's a lot of parallel between Golrak and a Warpfire Dragon, and I feel like the Warpfire Dragon is just better most of the time. Yeah. Any temptation to add in 3 Chimeras? If you see me adding Chimeras to my lists, then know that big Chimera has got me, and I've finally caved to the blatant and horrific shilling that they are trying to get me to subscribe to. Like, big Chimera has bribed me. Chimeras are bad, unfortunately. Warpfire might be one of the best models Games Workshop put out. So is Galrock, no. So, you could just use whichever one you wanted for either of the other one. Do any dragons have ward saves? I mean, all the characters can buy them. Warriors of Chaos dragons have them built in, and the Warpfire dragon has a conditional ward save for Warriors of Chaos specifically. Yeah. Okie dokie. Sorry, we were going to look at Ross's Wood Elves. I got sidetracked there. I feel like Ross said something in chat. Yeah, here we go. With the buffs to Orion, debatable. I mean, technically yes, but debatable. And War Dancers, I'd like to see where I can push a full aggro Wood Elf list. The idea here is to have a go turn where you trigger the horn, send in Frenzied and Furious Charge Warhawk Riders, and War Dancers. So this is a very expensive unit that I don't know is going to do enough. I would rather put more value into this unit of War Dancers. Like, I don't think the Warhawk Riders are going to get you there, realistically. You haven't got... Okay, so you've gone for a Totem of Wrath on an Aspect of the Hound. Aspect of the Hound is reroll ones to hit, isn't it, if I remember correctly? Reroll ones to hit, reroll ones to wound. I mean, if you're doing it, that is the way to do it. I just don't think that's something you should do. Yeah, I don't know. That's not for me. That's not for me. Like, this 243 points and this 199 points could be another unit of Wild Riders, and then, yeah. But let's not tweak necessarily. Like, let's not take out the War Dancers, let's not take out the Warhawks. Let's just maximize it to the theme. Warhawk Riders, the Burb meta is upon us. Fear it, respect it. It comes for you. I would love to play against this because I feel like those are some easy points to pick up. Like, not only is the list, like, mostly frenzied, so you can just run it around the table if you've got the list for it, you also are like, oh, okay, so you've got, what's that, 450 points tied up in 6 models that are T4 with 2 wounds and no armor save. It's, they're pretty squishy. Okay, so Orion. I need to refresh my memory on Orion. I remember that he's, like, not awful, but he's just very pricey for what he does. He does have basically an Ogre Blade, which I respect. So he's now 405 points. He is on it, you know, it's him plus the 2 hounds. The hounds are ethereal. He has terror, they have fear. And he's got 2 shooting weapons. The Cloak of Isha, which is a ward save that also maybe lets you regen a wound, like if you're very lucky. And you've also got the Spear of Kurnos, which is strength... Is he strength 5 base? Yeah, so strength 6 AP2, multiple wounds D3. So it's literally just an elf with an Ogre Blade, which you've got here already. But okay, sure. Sure. Wood Elf armies often feel like they belong in Age of Sigmar, since they almost always avoid having ranks in a rank and flank game. That is an inherent issue. Like, some of the older factions do have some thematic issues in how you can realistically balance them. I think it's fair to say. It is fair to say because, yeah, Wood Elf skirmishing is maybe not great for the game. Just in terms of, like, if it's good, it's very frustrating to play against, and it's very not rank and flank. Dwarf ballistics, or, like, Dwarf shooting supremacy, not great for the game. I'd love to see them in a more combined arms sort of way, where they have to play a little bit more honest. Don't get me wrong, I want to do elf bullshit. I just think for the health of the game, everyone doing elf bullshit is maybe not the best idea. Core Tree Kid would be sick. I'd love an arcane journal for Wood Elves that is all forest spirits. I got so, like, I convinced myself so hard that that's what we were getting in the run-up to the last arcane journal, or the arcane journal for Wood Elves, and I was so disappointed when it wasn't the case. I should have known better, realistically. All right, cool. So the Beast Pack are fine. The Warhawk Riders, I mean, if you're doing it, you're doing it. You've got, yeah, that's fine. I'd probably spend the 5 points to give them True Flight arrows just to... You know, if you're paying 243 points for the unit, 248, and then also you ignore cover and you can ignore move and shoot penalties, just gives you something to do if you don't have, like, a favorable charge that turn, theoretically. You might never use it, but it's 5 points that I'm happy to spend. Shadow Dancer. Shadow Dancer should definitely be Illusion. Glittering Robes as a signature spell is incredible. Because the War Dancers are already -1 to be hit because they're skirmish, so stacking an additional -1 on them makes them very hard to be dealt with ballistic skill shooting, and then you can just do some cover shenanigans as well. Then we've got the Ogre Blade character with Orion's Favor. It's as punchy as any elf character's going to get, realistically. Wild Rider Kindred on a Hoss. I like them on a Stag, but I don't think we definitely don't have points for that. I like him on the Stag because the Stag brings a little bit more damage, but also brings first charge. So it's the only thing that Wood Elves can have that turns off rank bonuses, which is really nice. But I don't see a way to run it. If we're committed to the bit that we're committed to, then I don't see a way to run it. And then we've got this Glade Captain, which I like the build you've gone for. Like, I don't like the premise, but I like the way you've done it. The 2 Plus podcast guy said that you can at least put the Orion on the table now, but don't expect much. I think that's fair. I don't think he's bad. I think he's just still like maybe 100 points too much. Maybe 100. Like, would I run him at 350? I don't know. Like, maybe it's 300 that he sort of fits in. Like, if you think about him, how does he compare to pre-nerf Green Knight, for example, who is a solo character that can do some damage, is hard to interact with in certain ways. He's got advantages and disadvantages over him, but yeah. Anyway, okay. Okie dokie. So core. If your Wild Riders go into a unit and they need like static combat res to win the fight, you have somehow messed up. Because you should just be tabling your opponent. Like, that's what Wild Riders do. They are the hardest hitting unit in the game that is not a character. I think bar none. Weapon skill 5 with 4 attacks on the charge. Sorry, 3 attacks on the charge. So, I guess arguably you could put War Dancers up there now, actually, with their 4 attacks each. But, you know, they hit disgustingly hard. You shouldn't need a standard bearer with War Banner. And in fact, I'd maybe get rid of the standard overall, because all you're looking for is punching, and this unit is going to die, and not giving up the 50 points for a standard bearer is probably a good idea, frankly. I also wouldn't run a musician. You're not going to have close fights, you're not going to panic and flee, because you are frenzied. But you've remembered to put shields on, which means you're a better player than me, because I'm a muppet. Never gonna let myself live that down. Banner of the Wild Hunt, does that give you rerolls on pursuits? I don't hate that one. So this is where I'd be probably willing to pay for a banner. Like, maybe here you go for Banner of Swirling Wind, honestly. Like, I could see that. But I think I'm not even that bothered. Banner of the Wild Hunt to reroll pursuit rolls and give you plus combat res, I think that works out quite nicely. I don't hate that at all. And again, you've given them shields, and then you've got the Glade Riders. Cool. I like the unit champion, but it's not mandatory. You've given them reserve move. You've given them Furious Charge as well. Sure. True Flight Arrows. Are they... Yep. Okay, cool. You know what? Sure. That is sure. Winter-themed Wood Elves look tempting right now. I think I've got a couple on my desk, like half-painted. This is... You're not seeing my desk, but this shows that there is too much stuff on it. Yeah, here's a couple of half-painted but not finished Winter Wood Elves. I should get round to redoing them. I really like Wood Elves thematically, and I think there is a way to go with them. Anyway, we freed up some points here because we definitely want more models in the War Dancers, and yeah, okay. So I think the one thing that really worries me with War Dancers is magic, like just being killed by Ruby Ring of Ruin. Like, that obviously sucks for the Wild Riders as well, but it sucks, in my opinion, way more for specifically the War Dancers, because they are so darn squishy that let's just give them the Aerial's Favor, and... Oh, it's too many points. I forgot you were doing these things. Okay, we're going to have to skip the Aerial's Favor. I don't feel good about it. We'll go... Sword of Might is not necessary on there. We'll go... I guess Obsidian Lodestone gives you some ability there. You can go for Magic Standard, and you can go for Banner of Swirling Wind as well for an additional -1 to be shot, which I think is funny. I don't know that you need it. Is this Wild Hunt? This is Wild Hunt, isn't it? Yeah. You could give them Vanguard, right? Honestly, I don't hate Vanguard on them, given that they're infantry. Hunter King, I think it is. Is it worth giving them Vanguard here? Maybe. Maybe, because you can try and get behind some mid-board terrain, and that's an interesting... Like, that's not awful. I would like to see more models in this unit, though, and I just don't know how we get there. Well, I do. We drop some Warhawk Riders, because who cares? Get out of here. We'll drop a model here, just go down to 6. 7 is quite wide, so it's a little difficult to maneuver, and we're going to put those points into more War Dancers. What are we up to? 11. I think we'd go... You want some throwing spears, because you will fight with them in the second rank. So just get a little bit more value there. I don't know about the Banner of the Hunter King. I think it's fine. I think let's not worry about it. Let's just go for more models. I do think just going, yeah. Um, the way that I'd be tempted to run this is I'd maybe even consider putting them in open order, so you just get more bang for your buck. It depends what you're playing against. If you need the defense against shooting, skirmish is really nice. But if you don't, being able to be in a wood and then charge out of it at max range now with like 2 ranks and open order, I don't hate that at all. Yeah. What else are your first battle match army because you love them? Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I think a lot of people are going to start like pick up a few armies in terms of like get the hobby, the magpie glitter in their eyes and be like, ooh, I could do a little bit of this. And before it would have just been like a failed army, but now it's like a successful 400 to 700 point little battle march force, and I think that's really cool. I think battle march is very positive, and I need to make more content around it because I think it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. This is Ross's list. Uh, okay, back to this. Back to this. What are we doing here? So we've had a Wood Elves. We'll save. There's a second Wood Elf list. We'll save that one for later. Let's have a look at. I'm sure this will be a. You know what? I'll save it because Amy might turn up in chat later on, if she's finished working later. So let's hold on that. You plan to have multiple failed battle march projects. That's impressive, being able to fail battle march projects. Let's have a look at John's High Elves. So John, it is in the chat somewhere. Just got to scroll up and find it. Just gotta scroll up and find it. Okay, John says, post-Cedar Rebirth, the nerf, you've been looking at non-double dragon monster high elves, so you think they're already struggling, have gotten worse now. That's super fair. Got a tournament next weekend, so a chance to try something out. Very cool. Combined with the change to file tides, learning obstacles, null, thinking that Dragon Prince Illusion Bus has something going for it, so a good way to play high elves. That's cool. Would welcome thoughts on the list and approach. Also flagging the archer detachment is deliberate to keep drops low and not a mistake. I am coming around on detachments for that reason specifically. Thank you for pointing that out in case I've missed it, but I think hopefully I'd have got that one. But you know what? It's warm and it's late, so maybe I'd have missed it. Who can say? Who can say? So you're starting off with the single dragon with just the build. You've got the you've got the 5-up ward from the Armor of Calidor. You've also got a 3-up armor save because of the shield. You've got the 5-up regen from the Cedar Rebirth. Once per game, 2-up ward save from the Opal Amulet. And you've got the Halberd to get you into combat as well. All good stuff there. I just saw someone talk about chimeras in chat, and my brain immediately derailed. Okay. So there's going to be 2 characters going into the unit with the Dragon Prince bus, which is very nice. And then Sis of Avalon as well. And then gone offline, or did I drop out there, or was that just my Streamlabs bugging out? Because my chat disappeared momentarily. Let me just see if the broadcast is still alive. Yeah, it seems to be. Maybe it was just a back-end bug. Anyway, okay, so number of drops. We've got Elves and Archers for 1, Illyrian Reavers for 2, Dragon Prince for 3, Sisters for 4, but Ambushes and Characters for 5. Yeah, so 4 drops if you want it. That's not bad. I do like the value of aggressive lists. We're really low on drops there. Okie dokie. So. Totem of Wrath is just good, and I think it deals with a lot of the problems that Dragon Princes have, which is they have 2 attacks each, which is great, but they kind of lack a little bit of oomph in the output department, and rerolling 1s to wound and that extra AP does help them. So that is really good to have. No Musician, I think, is fine because they're drilled. If you need to cut points, that's something that I'm okay with. And then I don't know how I feel about the Cloak of Beards, because it gives you terror, right? Yeah. Gives you terror. Do I want people running away from my unit that doesn't have fly 10? You are move 8. Is it move 8? Move 8 with Swift Stride? Yeah, it's still pretty mobile. And it's -1 to your leadership. Yeah, it's probably good. I don't know. I'm never like super jazzed when I see this on Blood Knights or Dragon Princes, but I think it's not awful. It promotes people being more likely to run away from you when you want to get in and do damage. As you were told before, White Lion's Arrest here. I think if you're playing Trace now, I'm more tempted to try and do the White Lion Death Star, so that's something. That is something. Okay. Let's have a look what you're attaching. You've got the Archmage, level 3, Lore Familiar Power Scroll, Meteor Hammer, Blood of Caledor Illusion. Yeah, this is perfect. This is like just the best Archmage for damage that you could build. Not having any durability is a little bit rough. Yes, obviously you get the free full plate from Blood of Caledor, so you get a 3-up save comboed with the Barded Elven Steed, and you've got a 6-up ward save from the Blood of Caledor. I'm still a little worried. I'd love to see like an Opal Amulet in there, but there's just no points, and there's no weapon that's 30 points that's appealing enough to swap down from Meteor Hammer. So I like it, but it does worry me a little bit. But then again, you're playing like drilled marching column cavalry. Maybe you should have just picked your fights better if you're worried about your wizard dying. So maybe I shouldn't worry too much about that and just live with the consequences. Rampaging Banner on the Noble's really nice, actually. The big thing that causes big charging threats to fail, dragons, big units of cavalry, failing that charge is very rough. So having the Rampaging Banner to reroll the charges is actually pretty good. I do like that. Lance, free full plate, shield, Barded Seed for 2-up save, Opal Amulet for a single 2-up ward, Lawmaster's Cloak to give you a ward save against magic missiles, Blood of Caledor. Yeah, I don't hate it. Would I prefer MR2 on here? You'd have to move some stuff around. Like, you could give this character Terror with the Cloak of Beards, and then you could give the Dragon Prince unit champion double Opal Amulets. Maybe I like that more. Because the Lawmaster's Cloak isn't against assailments, it's just magic missiles, right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You've got a wizard in there. I would like some MR on that unit, I think. And then you've got a unit of Spearmen, Fools, Command, Monster Hunter Tapestry, Shield Wall. Veteran would be nice on them for that reroll, for the consistency. It's everything but break tests. You're pretty liable to fail a terror test, even though you're immune to... people might not charge you because of that. Swap Lawmaster's Cloak to the Dragon Prince champion. Yeah, could do that. I don't know that I'd double down on like Lawmaster's Cloak and also the magic resist. I'd probably just go Cloak of Beards on the Noble and then like MR2 on the Dragon Prince unit champion if I was to change it. Yeah, I think this is solid. I am endlessly disappointed by Lyra and Revis, and even with the Ring of Fury, I feel like this is 153 points that will do very little, but it's core for Wood Elves. High Elves. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then this, I think Ruby Ring of Ruin, if you're taking one thing, like, it's cheaper than the Bow of the Seafarer, it's more expensive than the Sword of Sorrow, but you still get to shoot your bow on top of that. I think if you're coming in for ambush with Ruby Ring of Ruin, that's more punishing than coming on with Sword of Sorrow. Less punishing than Bow of the Seafarer for the angles you can get, but it's also cheaper. So I think I like that here. What would we have to change around to go... We don't have the points available here to give this model the Cloak of Beards. All right, I'm just going to keep it as it is. I think... Oh, is that your list, Jong? Jong F. Oh, it'll be John GF, not Jong. That'll be why I didn't realize it was you, because I was reading your username as Jong, as opposed to John GF. All right, cool. I was going to link the timestamp. I think your list is good. Like, I think in terms of maximizing the theme, you have done a very good job. You could maybe instead run Banner of the Swirling Winds over Rampaging Banner. This is a meta read, and it's really hard to say what the meta is going to be right now. But I don't know that I'm super worried about Ballistic Skill shooting, although I wouldn't hate having some sort of durability there. Rampaging Banner is just like a good take-all play there. You could drop the Cloak of Beards for MR2. I think this list just works the way you want it to. I don't think you can improve this much, other than like maybe tweak around with the core but I don't know what I'd do with the core instead. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do with the core. I'd like them to have veteran, but that's 25 points. Like, maybe we just drop the Ring of Fury, because realistically, is it going to do much? You attempt to buy Swirling Winds, but I really think they have to charge. I agree. When you're putting so many eggs in this basket, I think having the consistency of just doing what you need to do is very good. Like, I think maybe we drop that Ring of Fury, and we go veteran. And that way, I'm more happy about leaving this Brick of Spearmen on their own in the backfield to do their thing, and I'm less worried about turning my dragon around or my dragon princes before sort of turn 4 or 5. Just gives you a little bit more durability. You're less likely to get terrored off. Although I guess you've got Var of Ages for rerolling panics, right? So maybe you don't need it. Nah, screw it. Screw it. Let's just leave the list exactly as it is. I think you've done a good job, and I'm not even going to link it because you're here. Just, yeah, the list works. If you're worried, like, if you find out more about the people going and you're like, oh, I think they're going to take loads of wizards but not necessarily magic missiles, change it so they have MR2, but I think this list is just good. So we'll leave that there. Okay. Perfect. Okie dokie. So, what are we moving on to next? We've done a lot of Warriors of Chaos already. There is a lot of Warriors of Chaos. I think let's go Warriors of Chaos into Nuln, and then into maybe Wood Elves after that. Let's look at Papa Wheelie's list. I don't know if you're still here, Peppa. I hope you are. I love the direction of the description. With the changes to learning obstacles, I'm feeling brave enough to try out 5 chariots, Heralds of Darkness. Number and type of chariots restricted to what I own. I'm open to suggestions on character loadouts, but I'm mostly looking for feedback on core. Very cool. And this is 5 chariots, which I love that you're like, oh, changes to linear obstacles. They still ignore my impact hits, but at least I get to make my attacks, which I think is fair, to be clear. I think that is fair. I just also think maybe it's not the time of chariots yet. Shot myself in the foot with the stream title. No, there's at least another couple of, or at least one more Wood Elf list to go to. So, what are we working with here? Okay. I know I've said this many a time. I am not in love with chariots on their own. Even chosen chariots. Like, I like characters on them. And I think, especially with the changes in the FAQ, and I didn't even consider this, that's how overlooked chosen chariots are. The fact that they are now the only chaos body, the chariots, that doesn't have a ward save, just a 6-up ward save, I think is really rough for them, and I feel bad about that. However, you've got to spend your points somewhere. And I accept and understand that. I do accept and understand that. The Gorby's Chariot as well. What's better? Probably the Chosen because of the counter charge, but at least the Gorby's, like, threatens to do some real damage. Let's have a quick look at the core. Oh, sorry, the core of the characters. The characters which are the core of the list. Marganurgle, Chosen Chariot, also Marganurgle. It's really rough that you have to pay twice. You do have to match marks with core or with characters and non-characters. So you're going to have to pay to give someone Nurgle here if this is the direction you're going in. They could cause a flat tire, those low obstacles. Damn right they could. Single Favor of the Gods, Brazen Collar. Wait, what else have they got? Is that it? Crown of Everlasting Conquest. Okay, yeah, I don't know how I missed that. It very clearly was on my screen when I was like, oh, there's nothing else. I want that second favor. That doesn't put me above 500, so we're going to do it. And then we're going to do the same over here. Sure. Okie dokie. Gone Demon Flesh for +1 wound. Oh, can't be wounded on a 2, of course. And then extra arm. I think 40 points for a great weapon attack is not a price that I'm super happy to pay, but I think 35 points for strike last is something I'm much happier to pay. That would be... It just means that you're going to strike first with your great weapon if you charge. Haha, funny joke I just made. But also, if you get charged, it's less punishing because of the counter charge. Oh, because the counter charge strikes less is very powerful. There we go. About to buy 2 Carnosaurs. Chariots are great. Everyone should play them for. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. Were you tempted by the core Chaos Chariots? No. They don't score. All they do is they take up points here, unfortunately. Hey, Amy. I decided to hold off on doing your list because I thought there was a chance you'd turn up later, so we can get to yours later on if you fancy. Okie dokie. So, do I care about not being wounded on a 2? I don't think I do. Like, it's cool, but cannons are still going to cannon you. They just cannon you ever so slightly less consistently. You've already got triple save. You got triple save and 7 wounds. Like, I think that's just as good as it's getting. So if we're doing this, I do like the War Banner BSB and then the standard on the Chosen Chariot. Wait, Chosen Chariots don't have... No, it's Black Orc Chariots that have standard. Sorry, getting my Elite Chariots mixed up there momentarily. Poisonous Slime's funny. Isn't that infantry only? No, not Poisonous Slime. Acid Ichor. Only in challenges. Probably not worthwhile. Probably not worthwhile. And honestly, it could kind of screw you over depending on when you kill them. Yeah, I just don't feel like there's anything I'm super jazzed about. Spending points on... Hey, Sam. Good to have you. Good to have you. Use 3 characters on tracing 3 characters on chariots in your chase army. Yeah, I like that. They're fun. I think they're just limited, right? I've tried to put them on the table a couple of times and been underwhelmed. No audio here. I think that's on your end, bud. It's not.
Viva
not
la Chaos Troll Horde Revolution.
We spent 3 hours talking about regular Troll Horde, and now you're here. Literally 1 day later, making me talk about other trolls. I think that's disgusting, and you should be ashamed. All right, cool. So I think I'd also, as nice as Nurgle is, I think we don't go Nurgle, because A, you have to pay for it twice, which sucks, but B, you'd have to balance it out with marks in, outside of there, which is probably just not worth doing. So if we go... undivided. Have I changed that one over? Yeah, it's this one needs to change over. Okie dokie. So, change that one over to there. Goblin characters and wolf chariots are interesting because they have swift stride. That was something that I was literally talking about yesterday as options. Should Orc Boys be an auto-include since they got Furious Charge? Competitively, no, but if you like them, they are slightly better. So, that's cool. I think Orc Boys aren't bad. They're just a victim of being a unit that exists alongside Night Goblins and Black Orcs, and it's hard to justify them when those two exist. But budget, very cheap, with a warbow and a shield. They're toughness 4, you can give them skirmish if you want to. I think they have some utility. I don't hate them. They're better than they were, for sure. Alright, so we've freed up some points here. In core, what I want to do is I want to put a very cheap character in with Mark of Khorne, and it's really hard to do that. Really, really hard to do that. Is there anything that we can do to get there? So, you've got 2 units of Chaos Knights, and I just think, unfortunately, they're not going to achieve much or anything at all. Because they don't hit hard. They don't have Furious Charge. I want to get rid of at least one of these. Marauder Horsemen are great. I'm very Marauder Horseman pilled, and they also keep your drops low. So, not Dark Hearts. You want to go with Natural Fortitude on them. I know Dark Hearts is good, but T4 is just gooder. Yeah. So let's go 2 units of these, and then we work out what the hell we do for the rest of our points. What do we do for the rest of our points? We have to... I want to run this as Khorne. I feel like you run a small unit of Chaos Knights, 4, maybe 5. I don't mind the Brazen Collar. Give them Khorne. So they have punch to go with the rest of the unit. I know. I don't hate Dark Hearts on them here. So, but how do we... Oh, why have I got 162 points? What have I taken off here? Have I just clicked off the chariot? No. No, that's fine. Okay, we got points. Okay, let's do something like an Aspiring Champion with Mark of Khorne on a... mean, demonic mount. I just Chaos Steed. Just Chaos Steed. We wanted this to be cheap and cheerful, and we're using it to unlock the Khorne Chaos Knights. That's going to be the value here. Like it's the age old. If you could just do Khorne units in core, like I still think the list isn't great, but at least you have like more output threat. And then we can go Dark Hearts is good there. Give him a shield and just keep him pretty cheap and also cheerful. You own you only own 8 Marauder Cavalry. Ooh, okay. So if we remove those, you then have to run something else, which is difficult to do, I think. Like I'm not opposed to. Like this is a very punchy unit. It's not. It can get baited all over the place because it's frenzy, but theoretically you can use that to try and like you can support it with the chariots. If we go for another unit of knights, the problem is I don't know what this second unit does. I struggle to see how to really get the value out of them. Even if we go like Brazen Collar. I guess... What would I do? Is there anything that I'm really excited to put on them? I don't think there is. Like Icon of Darkness? I guess you could give this unit Banner of Rage. Oh, that's a way you could do it. You could do... I know I don't typically recommend going for Frenzy. And that is because I think this detachment is so uniquely limited in terms of what it can do that Frenzied Core Cavalry is kind of okay. I don't love it. I think it's still limited. But I think if you're doing something, this is not the worst way to do it. So maybe we just go Banner of Rage to give 1 unit Frenzy without the restriction of needing a second Khorne character. And then you go... So then you've got 2 units of Knights here that hit pretty hard. They can be Frenzy baited, but what are you going to do? I guess the Warhounds can help you there. And then you've got the Chariots here, which I don't want to tweak around with because they do what they do. They are fine. They are just okay. You don't have a Warfire Dragon. Like, I mean, why am I talking about dragons? Like that doesn't make anyone happier, right? We've got to do more on the. God damn it. We've got to do more on the more frenzy, the better. Can't bait everything. At a point, that's, I guess, kind of true. But you can bait multiple units with 1 unit. So that is a problem. You know, that's an issue. I don't know how we get under this cap here while... Like, I'd love to put a chariot in core, so maybe we have to drop a chosen chariot. I don't like doing that. But... Oops. In terms of, like, I know it's a limited... You know, you've got limited ability to change things up. Changing one of the chariots from a chosen chariot to a regular chariot purely to get above the core cap while still being like legally able to run the army. And then yeah, I'm not really sure if there's anything else that I'd tweak here. Is how many points we got on this character? We got 30 points or 35 points. I don't know, like I just don't know what I'd prefer to put in. Like, is there anything that... It's the issue with this list. Like, this, it's already limiting to play this detachment, but I think if we're playing this detachment with the restrictions of the models that we have here as well, it becomes quite difficult to make compelling choices. Like, that's 35 points for that probably isn't worthwhile. Oh, we should probably put at least a couple of Favors of the Gods on the aspiring champ that we're going to throw into the enemy, and then I guess we just go with, of course. Oh, we can drop the musician there. If they're frenzied, they're frenzied. I think something like this, but I'm not happy with it. I think running a chariot list is already limiting in its own way, but then also being restricted with the models we have is difficult. If you were trying to make the best sort of core you could do, I think it would be 2 units of ambushing Marauder Horsemen, maybe a couple of units of Marauder Horsemen on the board as well, just because they're not reliant on a mark for what they're trying to achieve. You can take them as like a cheap-ish unit. They're still T4. They've got like a 5-up save. They're not awful. Yes, like 2 of them have to be not skirmish, but that's, its own value there. Anyway, that'll do for that one. Oops, that's the wrong Papa on Discord. Papa Wheelie. There we go. Let's have a look at. We'll do one list before we get to Amy's, because Amy's is technically chaos, even though it's chaos troll horde. We'll go to. Let's go to more Empire Rumors City State of Nuln list. Okay. So there was a description here, and this was, wanted to make a Nuln list after the massive nerfs. Let's see how I did. You're welcome, Papa Wheelie. Hope you have fun playing it. Okay. So cannons are good. Hellblaster volley guns are good. Steam tanks, I'm kind of whatever on. I feel like maybe I'd want to go more into Hellblaster volley guns, but the Steam Tank does give you an angle in a way, and you can back it up with the state troops. I think if you're doing, for my money, and I'm not necessarily going to completely rewrite this list here, but I would go Hans von Lohenhack. I'd go as many cannons as I could reasonably fit in. I'd go as many Hellblaster volley guns as I could reasonably put in. I'd go for a big brick of veteran Nuln state troops, and then the small detachment of the handgunners that you have to run. 1 big brick of Outriders. I think 12 is good. 12 to 16, once you factor in characters, I think is about as big as you can go. I'm not worried about running that second unit of 4 here, although I don't hate it. I think it's okay. I'd probably look at running... Road Wardens would be more interesting to me than this unit here. And then character-wise, I think if I'm doing this, I'm more excited to put a Witch Hunter in. Yes, the magic resist is different, but you can give them anti-ethereal, which I think this list sorely needs in a take-all-comers list. Not tempted by the buff to Hellstorm rockets. I don't think so. I need to playtest them or see the maths on them. I just worry that they are very inconsistent in how many misfires you can roll. But Strength 4 AP2 is decent. And a small blast template, we all poo-pooed it right at the start of the edition, rightly so, because, bases got bigger, and also partial hits they suck. But when you get to the point where you're getting, theoretically 7 or 8 hits onto a unit, and it's Strength 4 AP2, that is meaningful if you're not scattering. So maybe it's fine. You just have to lean into the engineers. So, tweaking this version, not the version that I would play around with myself, this Master Mage, I think, should become a Witch Hunter. In fact, maybe we just go both. I'm not opposed to a Wizard to give them magic resist and some level of dispel threat. But let's just change it over to the Witch Hunter for now. Witch Hunter, suffer not the demon, because that's the one that gives you magical attacks. Then we give them good old Squintoffins, which is down here, which is now only one of them. And then we'll go Captain on Horse with a Dragon Bow, Engineer with Von Trick Shots, Engineer, War Wagon, BSB. This is cool, but it's a lot of points, so I would drop that, unfortunately. Captain of the Empire. I have seen builds like this before, and they are fine. But I think now that Pegasus doesn't have a 360-degree line of sight, I'm less interested by it. But it still can go into the backfield and deal with enemy cannons, so I'm going to leave it. Yeah, I mean, I think this list is flawed. Is I don't think it maximizes a theme well enough. I don't think it leans into the strengths of what Nuln does, and Nuln has become prior edition dwarves. Basically, you try you hope to go first. You stack the deck by doing so. You've got some durable infantry with the veteran state troops, and then you also go with what was it? My brain just turned off there. And then you go with as much shooting as possible. With this version, I think like maybe a general on a griffin is an interesting piece to try and keep the rest of your list alive. But I feel like there's not enough shooting in here. You love how the Witch Hunter has a rule that references demons in the name when demons are legacy. Ah, yeah, but like demons exist, right? Like demon princes exist. So I think thematically it still works. So you know what? I am actually just going to retool this to what I would recommend, just for the sake of, because if I'm talking about it, I may as well just do it, right? So we'll go general hands. I don't hate the captain. The captain makes you immune to panic, which is valuable, and it does have a decent ballistic skill with the dragon bow, so that is not terrible. It's not a terrible use of your points. I'm okay with it. Then, although you probably don't need to give it armor. If you get caught in combat, you're kind of just screwed anyway. So maybe we just go like this, just for the sake of points. Then we've got this captain who does want to be durable because they are flying around on their own, which I think this is fine. But if you're going Talisman of Protection, let's just swap that over to the Witch Hunter's Ward. You might have been using that on the wagon previously, but yeah, this is better. Oh, this needs to be on a horse, and then we'll go veteran state troops. Let's go 30 of them, something like that. 1, 2, 3, standard, Griffin standard, Witch Hunter's Ward, shields. Don't bother giving them anything else. State missile troops 5, free unit champion. Job's a good one. We'll drop this second unit of 4 Outriders. I don't think it adds much of anything, unfortunately. This is good. And then we definitely want at least one engineer. We're very heavy on core. I don't really know how we fix it. Maybe we just have to drop the archers. Archers are good, but just we don't have points, so maybe that's the solution. We go... I think, you know, I'm just going to maximize the version that I'm looking at here, and then we've got an example that we can build around with. Oh, we need at least 3 non-character units that aren't archers. Gosh darn it. Sorry, that aren't... you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. We could go for 4 Hellblasters, but I think 4 is too many. I'd like more shooting in this list, but I think... How do we get there? Okay, we'll drop the captain. We'll go for another engineer. 2 engineers is kind of enough-ish. I'd like a 3rd one, but it is what it is. This is not a bad pick. I think, honestly, you just go full, like, gunline. And that's sad, but I'm going to leave the captain in because I think it adds a certain spice to it. Maybe lighter on characters for more missions? Yeah, absolutely. I think you drop this captain and you maybe add another engineer, so that frees you up enough points to go for, like, another Hellblaster volley gun or something. But maybe it's just like this. How many points? Yeah, like, I think this is better. But I think, like, really, if you're trying to build Nuln, you'd literally just go, how many guns can I fit in the list? I think that's really dull. I think this is a better, like, version of the list. But, yeah. If you want to maximize it as much as possible, it's probably like, can I fit 6 cannons, 4 Hellblaster volley guns in, and supporting characters? And then sort of work backwards from there. And then that 1 brick of Outriders. Okay. All right. Alrighty then. Let's go back to the Troll Horde list. Air quotes Troll Horde. So this is Amy's. And then we've got 3 more after that. High Elves, Wolves of the Sea, and yeah, Wood Elves. So, Troll Horde. There was some fluff here. A post-FAQ stab at a low-drop Chaos Troll Horde, mounts in units as before, wasn't sure if there was any way to deal with the stupidity in this sort of Death Star setup. You've put a Hell Cannon in, and I'm just going to remove that immediately, because Hell cannons are more likely to kill themselves before the end of the game than anything else is likely to kill them. So maybe we'll come back to it, but just on principle, I have to get rid of that. What do we got? So you're going for like a true Death Star with the Chaos Trolls here. Their leadership hasn't been updated. 18 points cheaper. Oh, that's why you were over on points. I guess, right, okay, so this hasn't been updated. Man, I can't believe that Old World Builder has only updated almost everything almost immediately. Disgraceful behavior. Not the Hell Cannon. Damn right, not the Hell Cannon. Get out of here. Double Forsaken is interesting. Knew the Hell Cannon would trigger you. It doesn't trigger me. It just fills me with a deep, abiding rage, and I have to respond to it immediately. It was an uncontrollable reaction. I wasn't triggered. I just couldn't control myself. Sure. I mean, if you're doing anything in core, I guess like there. I feel like Forsaken are the one unit here that I'm like, everything else over the last like 6 to 8 months has gotten better in here. Warhounds haven't, but they were just already like had a very clearly defined role. Marauder Horsemen are like now ambushing T4 backline models. Chaos Marauders are like a brick that's T4 that's surprisingly durable. Chaos Knights, less good, but at least they have countercharge. They've got a 6-up ward save. Chaos Warriors have loads of rules. And then there's Forsaken, who do what they did before. I know some people like them. I personally don't value them, but we'll leave them in. Like, you could tweak the core. You could tweak the core. That's not what we're here for. What we're here for is how do we maximize the troll unit. Is it maximum 9, or can you go bigger? I feel like there's no max on it. Let me just double check. One to 9. Gosh darn it. All right. Sure. So we'll go with 9. And then we're going fully into the unit. Is it worth going double wizard? You've gone for battle magic and demonology. To be fair, that is a good combo. Like, that is hard to argue with. But you haven't got a lord, which means your leadership is bad. If you're 9 wide, you're going to be 6 wide, so you've got 3 characters in. So, like, can we drop this Exalted Champion to a... Like, let's make this Exalted Champion a Chaos Lord, and let's make this Exalted Sorcerer a Sorcerer Lord. I should have looked at what you had on there. Dargon, Favor of the Gods, Diabolic Splendor. Okay, let's go back to it. So, Chaos Lord. So, Diabolic Splendor, I think, is super reasonable. Being -1 to be shot is very nice. Oh, did you have a BSB on there? Do I have to import this list again? Because I've just, like, slap-happy deleted things. I maybe do. Where's Amy's list gone? Let's just very quickly, I'm going to move this list to the top, like so, and then let me import a new one. Boop. So you had BSB, but no standard on there. So it was just the consistency of the BSB. But your Mark of Undivided, so you've got like a level of consistency there. I understand you don't get to reroll battle, like failed. God, words are hard. Failed break tests, but I think that's okay. Cool. So the Chaos Lord is going to be the general, and you had gone. What did you go with? Crimson Armor of Dargon and Diabolic Splendor. Diabolic Splendor again. I like Diabolic Splendor. Crimson Armor doesn't feel super useful in my mind. Immune to multiple wounds. I guess, because you're not the same unit type, so you can get cannons. Okay. No, Crimson Armor feels probably mandatory. Okay. Yeah, fair. And then, do you want the regen on this character? I think you want the regen on this character, and I think you want the regen on... Oh, I guess you can't... We'll tiller around with that in a second. Let's come back to it. Sorcerer Lord, level 4 with Icon of Fortitude, Demonic Plate Mail, Spell Familiar. Demonic Plate Mail is, I guess it's valuable because we're just going to get shot to pieces, so we need that +1 toughness and the full plate. So you're getting a 3-up armor save. All right, fair. Someone needs to have magic resist on there as well. No, points to do so here. Oh, we could just change this to Talisman Crown and then Brazen Collar. So we've got MR2 on the unit, and make sure we give them the shield as well for shooting, give them a great weapon as well, because I kind of just skimmed through there. Went a little bit speedy. A little bit speedy. There's no point giving this model Mark of Zinch, because this unit is a Mark of Zinch, so you're not getting the +1 to cast. So, and like, your demonology, so if you're taking a magic missile, just take the summoning, so you don't need blue fire. Mark of Nurgle for +1 toughness is not nothing, although it's not great. You're leaning on your opponent failing to dispel it, but when you're like trying to run around and be as tough as possible, maybe that's worth doing. We should probably give you Enchanting Aura as well, but we're going to struggle for points. And then we're going to go Sorcerer Lord, Demonic Mount, and then this one will go with the Lore Familiar. Where have you gone? Lore Familiar, and then we'll go, I guess, Talisman of the Carrying Crow as well. And we're 11 points too many, so we've got to cut something somewhere. Okay, so frustratingly dropping the Mark of Nurgle. The troll cost was actually updated, not the leadership. Okay, cool. The Sorcerer Lord. I haven't even given them any. Oh, I haven't even given them any Babes of the Gods as well. That's rough. So it'd be like 2 here, and then yeah. Oh, this is hard to fit in. I feel like the regen is so good on a character that's going to. Maybe we just trust that the Lord is going to live due to its immune to multiple wounds, and we have to get the points by dropping Crown of Everlasting Conquest, which I don't like doing, to be clear. But then we put the Brazen Collar here. This Sorcerer Lord is fully kitted out, and then we go this second Sorcerer Lord, level 3 Lore Familiar. Talisman of the Carrying Crow can become Talisman of Crown of Everlasting Conquest. And we should probably give it. I actually don't care about that. No, you should roll on the table because it's a full melee break. So let's give it a favor of the gods. Even though the other one can't have it, let's give this one favor of the gods. Okay. I think that does what you want better, and then I think that's it. Like, I think you want it to be as dense as possible. Right? I don't think you forgot about the banners. Points were tough. Yeah. But like, so to get the better leadership, because you were only leadership 8, I've gone with the Chaos Lord to get you leadership 9, which I think is worth losing the BSB, because then you've still got the battle magic for Arcane Urgency and Oaken Shield and whatever else you want. Then you've got the Sorcerer Lord here with Steed of Shadows and Demonic Vessel, which is its own special joy. Yeah, and then I guess in terms of points, I don't really. Maybe just like a cheap unit Marauder Horseman. Nope. Well, yeah, like let's go. Like shave a couple of points and then go 6 Marauder Horseman unit champion, and flails and skirmishers and ambushers, and that puts us at 1996. And then your drops stay low, but you've got something that comes in the backfield to, like, while you're full pressuring, you're like, yeah, I've got an ambushing unit that can cause you some issues. That's interesting, though. I actually think there are reasons to play this list, although if I'm curious to play it. Oh wait, hold on, no. What's the mount size for Demonic Mount? Yeah. So you can't fit in the unit. You have to go to the edge of the unit. I think that's really rough. I actually think you do the same thing, but you just do it with Dragon Ogres. Like, because you can't stack in the front rank, I think you have to go Dragon Ogres instead of Trolls. Which sucks, but, it makes the list better, I think. You do the same and you just go Shah Attack, Great Weapons, Heavy Armors. You go up to 7 plus 3, so you'd be 10 models, and you'd just be not quite as wide. And then like this and then lose the unit champion or something like that. Dragon Ogres, you've ruined it. Well, unfortunately, you can't like go in the unit in the way you want to. You can run them 6 wide or less, but then have like 3 characters on the edge. But that sounds so heinous that I'm not on board. I'm not on board. I Chaos Giants worth now. Chaos Giants are more worth, I will say, than they were. Because they are T7 with a regen. I still don't think they're like a first ballot pick. I think you can do better things with monsters. Like if you're paying 220 points for a tough monster that is leaning on toughness and regen and kind of hits mediocre hard and then leans on stomps, I just go with a random moving giant spawn. I think that's more appealing. It does a lot of the same things and it's cheaper. It's not as tough, but you know, it's got value that way. But yeah, I think that's that. Yeah. Okie dokie. Cool. Well, let's go to. You know what? I want to save the Wood Elves for last. We'll go for a High Elves. Rico's High Elves, who says trying 2 dragons still. And this is double dragon with Prince. Dragon Prince's Phoenix. Okay. I guess it's just like pressure in a way and some core. And then, so we'll do this one, which I think is quite straightforward. Then we'll do the Wolves of the Sea List, and then we've got the Wood Elves as well. Cool. So, this Prince has a hand weapon. Star Dragon, Seed of Rebirth, Talisman of Protection, Opal Amulet. You always want to give them Pure of Heart. I hope the other, like, High Elf character on a dragon had Pure of Heart earlier. I didn't look. But that's that. No, just the Wolves of the Sea one, Jacker. I'll respond to you in the needs roll chat after stream. It just saves us going through it here. Cool. Hand weapon sucks. I think you want at least a cav spear, right? Like, I know a cav spear is not exciting, but at least you've got some sort of output and it gets you under the 500 points. And then this one here is still running around with 2 Opal Amulet, Armor of Calidor, and then give him a halberd as well. I think that works out nicely. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, yeah, Armor of Calidor. I'm just being stupid. Elven Spearman, you definitely want the Musician on this unit. Not having the Musician just means that bad infantry are more likely to tie combat than anything else. Veteran. Again, do you want Veteran? These, I think the archers I'd go up to 12s, like so, just to actively get to a point where you're not going to lose your scoring the second that you take 1 casualty. And then this unit Spearman, I think, has no purpose realistically, so we can free up the points there. Got the Dragon Princes with Cheap and Cheerful. I'd like MR on there, but and then Tomarath's good. I'd like MR, but they are like 300 points already. I don't know if I want to make them more expensive. And then the Frostheart Phoenix. I don't love the Phoenix, but I think in this list it's doing a job. Like it's the Warpfire Dragon, but just worse. That's the utility of it here. I'd be more tempted to run double. Honestly, I think double Chariot is going to be better. So I'm going to, and it also freezes up a couple of points. I think double Lothan Skycutter here is more valuable for what you're trying to do than the Frostheart Phoenix, because the Frostheart Phoenix, unfortunately, for anyone who hasn't looked, to be prepared to be disappointed. You're very squishy in terms, like, you are T6 with 5 wounds, but you've only got full plate and you haven't got any other save, which is really sad. You have a Blizzard Aura, which makes enemy models in base-to-base contact with this have strikes last, so that's very specific and hard to pull off in terms of it mattering to other models. It's not it. I have favorites Frostheart Phoenix. Can you see that? I must have just misclicked it. Let's get rid of that there. That is certainly not a favorite. No, I swear, guys, no. I don't like Frostheart Phoenix. It's not true. But yeah, double Lothan Skycutter is genuinely very good. It's flaming right. No, not the Frostheart Phoenix. The Flamespire Phoenix is. but you don't have flaming attacks on here. You've got Wicked Claws, which obviously we all know are just the normal weapons, and full plate armor. They don't just hate high elves, they hate burbs. Maybe. That might be true. Anyway, back to the list. Detachments still count as units to make this list legal, right? I'm not just having a... Oh, no, it doesn't matter because the Skycutters. I guess we just make this veteran and call it a day. Like, drop a couple of models, drop one model, give it veteran. I think that is more durable there. Frostheart needs T7. Yeah, I think so. I still think it wouldn't be good. I think it would be a nice buff to get. But I would say... I think maybe the reason they didn't do it is they avoid... Like, all of the flying monsters, or... All of the monsters that are good tend to be the flying monsters. Now, it is the dragons, but if you look at it more as like the flying monsters are the ones that are doing well, let's make the ground-based monsters a little bit better. Like, maybe that's where they went. I know they did buff some of the flying stuff, but they didn't buff it in ways that made it more durable. I think, off the top of my head, I can't think of any, like, durability buffs, other than, like, the arguable buff of you made Flyer cheaper. It is now cheaper points per wounds, thus it is more durable. Which is, like... That is an argument you can make, and, like, you know, slow clap because you're technically correct, but I'm not gonna give it real merit. But yeah, Rico, I think Rico was pretty on the ball with this list, just to start off with, honestly. So yeah, I also love that Rico's name on Discord is Rico Mobile Infantry, and the list that he submitted was Immobile Infantry, Double Dragon, Dragon Princes, and then a Phoenix, a monster. So, yeah. But, like Rico, I also like infantry, and like Rico, I am reduced to playing monsters, so who am I to judge? The Praetor got an extra wound, I believe. That's true. That is technically a durability buff, but I don't respect it. But thank you. That is correct, Wallach. That's a good shout. Cool. All right. Mancamore's Wolves of the Sea. And then we get a Wood Elf list to round us out. So, new warriors for me. Still Wolves of the Sea, my beloved. Just a precision on the Lord loadout must be... It's got an accent over the E, so I'm assuming that is a filler word from maybe French. With the way regen works, even regen wounds trigger the Pendant of Damnation, so the guy can turbo buff himself between that Gaze of the Gods. Goes with Huskarls. Yeah, I think, like, something's got to happen with regen. I'm not treating regen as, like, the haha, I'm immune until we get, like, mass consensus that that's how it works, because I think that is just fundamentally stupid. Like, it's... I'm not opposed to you, like, theory crafting around it if you find that fun, but I think as a community, surely we don't just all hold our hands up and go, well, we've tried nothing, and I guess regen now works better, ? I feel like it's going to maybe get tweaked around with. Again, not a slight against the author of the list, but just as a general note on regen, I truly don't believe that we're going to be leaving it in the same state that it is. Okay. Is that you in chat, Dark Sauce? Are you Mancamore? Or Manic Moore, I should say. Because if yes, are you playing with a pack or at an event which allows all infantry to score? Because if yes, this unit makes sense. If no, I think unfortunately they don't really have a place. Dark Sauce is the old pseudonym. Yeah, no, I get that. A lot of my stuff is still under an old name. Although there are two of me. There's someone else on the internet that uses the same username that I used on a lot of my old stuff. So I'm not upset to be leaving that behind. Cannons invincible to cannons on hills and regen slapping multiple wounds. Yeah, like, at this point, if that's the update they're putting out, I think we just kind of all have a quick chat between us, work out something reasonable, and we go there. Not for an event, more theory crafting. Okay, cool. So, just in terms of, to explain why I wouldn't go for this personally, infantry are very solid when you can get, like, double use out of them. If you are on a point and you're scoring objectives with them because they're core, and your opponent has to come towards you and interact with you, that's where infantry really shine. And you'll see infantry Death Stars that double down on that. They'll have characters in there, they'll be on objective scoring, but also it'll be like their main game strategy, so there'll be a lot of points bunkered in them. Where you don't typically see infantry having real play, in my opinion, is non-scoring infantry. So Chaos Warriors in Special, I don't think really are going to do much for you, unfortunately. I can see that you've gone for, a Demonology lore familiar character here, which is cool, but I think if you're doing that, I would be looking to play, like, if you're looking to do that with warriors, like actual Chaos Warriors, I'd be running them as general, like Warriors of Chaos as opposed to Wolves of the Sea. I understand that you lose the Berserkers, but that is a better way of doing that sort of setup. So, Skin Wolves are fun. I think the problem with Skin Wolves, although actually, you know what? I was going to say there are some problems with Skin Wolves. Skin Wolves now are one of the few Swift Stride 360-degree line of sight monstrous units in the game. So, you know what? Sure, let's leave them in. I think they're not great, they're not terrible, but for 135 points and the flexibility that they have with positioning, let's leave them in. Let's go with that. Huskals are so good to lose. Yeah, I think that's fair. So if you want the Huskals, I'd just take this unit out and then you build around the Huskals more. Would be my suggestion. So, what do we got here? So Marauders, you've got Brazen Collar, Full Command, great weapon. Marauders' strength is not necessarily... Oh, you know what? I was going to say their strength is not their weapons, but if you wanted to do some sort of melee brick, they are not awful. Like, they're not great, but you can't do what you were doing with Warriors of Chaos in the same way in this attachment and get the value out of it. So if you want the combat brick from the Marauders, they're not awful at doing it. Like they're medium, like they're middle of the ground. But if you like that playstyle, this is not an awful way to shoehorn that in. Skin Wolves are really mediocre but fun plays. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think spending 135 points in your list to play something that is not bad but not good doesn't make the list bad. Like that's something that you can definitely fit in. So these Marauders, you've given them great weapons. I wonder if Flails is better because it's basically a great weapon for the first the turn you charge, and if you win, what the play pattern I think is often going to be, you Steed of Shadows this unit up the board, you stand in front of them, you go hand weapon and shields when they charge you, so you don't just die. You win combat on combat res because you're quite durable, and then you charge, or you follow up, which counts as charging. You then swap to Flails, and you've also got Demonic Vessel up from Demonology. So I think let's just shave a point and go Flails, because you're probably wanting to use the hand weapon shield combo when you're getting charged. And Close Order makes sense on there. And if we're doing that, let's give them... Normally I'd say Monster Hunter Tapestry. I think this is just generally the best way to go. But you could also go with War Banner for combat res, because you're going to Steed of Shadows them up the board and just sit in front of an enemy. Special mention of one of my great weapon Marauders kill a full wound giant spawn. Okay, if that's something that you want to have, but spending the extra 25 points to upgrade them to great weapons, not the end of the world. So I'm gonna put that back as it was. Huskals are full command, Totem of Wrath, Flails, light armor, shields drilled, T4 with dark hearts. Yeah, I like it. That looks very solid. This is a good army, a good unit. And then you've got the Chaos Lord, who is demonic mount joining them. Regen, Brazen Collar. Okay, what does Damnation do? Pendant Damnation. Oh, this is the... Yes, yeah. I literally said earlier in the stream, this is interesting on a demonic mount character. Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, yeah, that's fine. And Enchanting Aura is good. Acid Ichor, I think I wouldn't bother. As you're like, oh, but you've got loads of it. I think the strength 4 AP2 wounds are probably not going to swing a combat. Either you're winning combat or you're losing combat into a dragon. And if you're losing combat into a dragon, the strength 4 hits are probably not what's going to swing it for you. That would be my suggestion anyway. Maybe adding a BSB in the block of Marauders could be an option. Could do. Yeah. I don't hate that if you want to double down on that as a game plan. This Sorcerer, you have Mark of Zinch. I assume the Warriors were Zinch, but since you're not going to be in the Warriors and the Marauders can't be Zinch, let's just go back to Undivided and save you some points there. This setup's good. Diabolic Splendor, Law Familiar Power Skull, Battle Hunger for the attacks. Oh no, it's the So Battle Hunger. Oh, again, this was in a different unit. I was gonna say, oh, this doesn't work the way you want it to. Of course it does, because we just changed things. You can go on natural fortitude actually on this because it is light armor. That's funny. So it'll get you to T5. I don't hate that. It's just like a cheeky durability upgrade. The Warriors had it, yeah. And I feel like you want more punch. I feel like you want another. Honestly, let's just double down. Let's just go another unit of Huskarls. I think, like, if we're saying the thing about this detachment is the Huskarls that's good, then why aren't we playing the Huskarls? Like, let's go two of them. Let's go for a second unit with a second character. Like, it won't be as punchy, but you can still do like a pretty decent cheap version. So you'd go. If we're not running Totem of Wrath, maybe we just go like super budget. Don't even run a standard. Run it the same otherwise. Podcast cards, you have a lot of them? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, let's do it. We'll run 7, but if we need points, we can scoop some out. And can we run an Exalted Champion? Yes, we can. We have points for that. And then we could just go Demonic Mount, and we could go Great Weapon, and I'm not opposed to Shield in case you want to run solo. And then on top of that, I guess you could give them the other regen item and the Brazen Collar, like, and then Favors of the Gods. We just keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid, as they always say. Brazen Collar. There we go. How many points is that? 55 points over. But we've spent a lot in core. Like, you haven't got a magic weapon here. You haven't got any weapon here. Almost missed that. Let's give him a great weapon on that Chaos Lord. Yeah. Don't want to be making, especially because you've got the item that gives you more attacks when you lose wounds. You'd be running around with some Gaze of the Gods rolls as well. You're like, I've got 11 attacks, and they're all Strength 5 AP 1, and I'm sad. So yeah, let's go Great Weapon, and then we just need to trim the core. Just trim the core. Berserkers are cool. I do like them. Let's take one out of each just to free up some space. And then, what else do we need to we probably don't need to go, like, the second unit doesn't need to be as punchy. Maybe you just go, like, a unit of 5 plus character, because this is, like, the secondary character that's coming in. Maybe that's the way to do things. Can't give, no. At which point we've got 15 points left, and you could just go... I mean, I want a 6th horseman here, realistically, but I can't. Maybe you go... No, flails are just good. We could drop an Marauder if we wanted to get there. Or, like, go for the flails. I'm skipping one. Yeah, no worries. Is the next list the last one for the day? It is, yeah. There's a Wood Elf list after this, which is the last one. Maybe delete the Warhounds. Yeah, like, I like Warhounds, but I agree. I think we can get rid of them, because it also means that you can have really low drops, because you've got the 3 units here in core that are ambush. You've got the 2 drops for the Huskarls that have to be on the board, the Skin Wolves. So it gets you to 5 drops, which is not bad. That's pretty low. Obviously, Wolves of the Sea can do their things, but if you don't have, like, a Chaos Warrior model, you don't always win that go first, which I know I took the Warriors out, but hopefully that made sense. What are we doing? Oh, yeah. Go for a 6th model. Give a musician. And then I guess we just go back to, like, 7, and you've got 5 points left, which I think is very hard to spend. So let's go for one more Favor of the Gods. I guess. Exalted Sorcerer. Okay, no one has points for that. Very well, no one has points for that. You know what? I will leave that 5 points to spare. And you can spend it at your discretion. Okay, cool. You are welcome. It was lovely to have you here to talk through, and hope that's fun for you. And then finally, we've got Selly's Wood Elves here as well. What was the text on this one? First crack at Wood Elves post FAQ, 2,400 points. Limited to 375 max per character, max 800 character points. Expecting a few monsters. Only have 6 Glade Riders. You're expecting a few monsters. That's interesting, because if you're expecting monsters, how are they fitting in at 375? 5 points to play with the choices. Yeah, I know, right? Normally I'd say take a Charm Shield, but I think I might have gone off Charm Shields. That's maybe that's a full 40-minute video that's coming at some point in the future. Yeah, it's probably not, but I will talk about it at some point in terms of my changing thoughts on that. Okay, so if you... I hate the Dragon Slaying Sword, but Sword of Might does make it better. I would give this model a Charm Shield, though. Like, you definitely want to... I know you're going to be in the unit, but if you're using a single-hand weapon, you may as well have that Charm Shield to be slightly more resilient. And I know the Wild Rider Kindred gives you a 6-up ward save, but this just gives you a better armor save. You didn't have a shield anyway, so this is good. And it's not 330 cap, is it? It was 375. Yes, that's fine. Spellweaver. Ooh, no. It's not a Warhawk. It's definitely not a Warhawk. 100% not a Warhawk. Which is a shame, because they're cool, but like they just don't... You can just... Putting them on a horse and putting them with reserve move Glade Riders is so strong that any other mobility shenanigans you can do is much less exciting. I see that you've gone for Heartwood Pendant for Lore of the Wilds, which is interesting, but I'm not sure you're going to get much out of that. I think it might just be Elementalism Lore Familiar, or you go... Honestly, I'm not sure what you go. Like defense with Oaken Stave and High Magic or something? I'm not really sure. I need to think about that more. However, we don't need Aspect to the Bear if you're joining the unit now. We can just be on a horse and not worry about being toughness 4 and still dying. Okay. Shadow Dancer level 1, Leok. This is really good, but the Shadow Dancer, again, I think I talked about this previously. Oh, 800 points cap. Yeah, I think we've got points for this now. 800 points cap. Ariel's Favor's really good, MR2 for 30 points. It's not as good as all of the other factions that have an MR item, because screw you Wood Elves, but it's a good item anyway, and it gets you, you're going to run around and do great things. Branch Wraith, I think Branch Wraith, also illusion. Just, I feel like Glittering Robes is generally the best signature spell that you can cast. Obviously, if you roll into Oaken Shield with Battle Magic, you feel amazing. And if you don't, you get Hammer Hand, which is fine. But I just think Glittering Robes is good in general. Like, I know they're not necessarily the meta, but a character with a great weapon and Glittering Robes... for like budget, 84 points, feels great. They only have 2 attacks. Now, that does suck. But the weapon skill 6, it's a very confused unit, I think, the Branch Wraith is. A very, very confused unit. They should have 3 attacks for sure. So we're legally within the points here. I don't love this model, but like I see what you're going for, and it is a build that people play. Glade Guard, Banner of Springtide. That's the ignore... Oh, quick shot, yeah, Bodkins. I think this is fine. Like, I don't hate the bigger unit. I think having something to hold objectives is fine. Their Furious Charge, now at least, what, the Glade Guard? Or the Dryads? Dryads! I was talking about Dryads, that was it. Yeah. Yeah. I think Dryads are, like, they were solid before, and they're even more solid now. Oh! Branch Wraith. Yep. Yeah, I caught up eventually. Thank you, Wash. Okay. This unit is less good than it was in terms of like regen and multiple wounds and stuff, so that is a problem on its own. I don't know that I love the Ruby Ring of Ruin on there as well. Although I guess it lets you interact with the game in a way. I think I would say Wildwood Rangers are gone. I think it's all War Dancers now. Like, if you want a unit that is going to do serious damage into any enemy infantry, it's that. And yeah, I feel like that's solid. Treekin, I'm not convinced Treekin are the way, but you definitely don't want a unit champion, and you definitely don't need 5. They are better than they were. They're toughness 6, which is super cool, but they still don't do any damage and they don't score anything. So I think there are just inherent problems with them as a unit. Wild Riders, I really like Wild Riders. If you're doing Wild Riders in squads of 4, don't worry about musicians because you're frenzied, so you can't fail. You're never gonna have to take a panic test. Maybe drop the Wild Hunter as well if you're going for a small unit, and just go something like 3 units of Wild Riders like this for punch, and then we build up the War Dancers. I think genuinely, like a unit of like a mid-sized unit like this, with it's honestly quite a large unit given how expensive they are, but with like Banner of Swirling Winds means that you can go into open order if needed, and you can still not get shot to pieces, or more likely, like Monster Hunter Tapestry is good as well. I think there's a lot of things that you can do there. Blade Singer, we should probably give MR. No, we've given them MR already from the Shadow Dancer. There are things that I like with the Shadow Dancer. Like, honestly, Orion's Favor, putting that on the Shadow Dancer, and then like putting MR1 on the War Dancers as a consideration. But I think MR2 is good. Honestly, maybe just put this on the unit champion. Like, I'm not opposed. Oh, no. We've got it on the Glade Lord already. Yeah, that's true. I'm also not opposed to giving them the Potion of Strength. Like, it was more of a thing when they were Strength 3, but now they're Strength 4, it's less important. But getting up to Strength 6 with your unit champion who has baseline 5 attacks on the charge, like, that's kind of dirt nasty, right? It is 5, isn't it? 2 plus weapon for 3 plus furious charge for 4. Wait, what have I done to imagine? Oh, because it starts at 3 now. I was looking at that as if it had been updated. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't hate a Potion of Strength. Or, like, Becoming Orb is also pretty legit on this sort of unit. Let's make sure that we've got some, like, second rank throwing spears, so you get some extra attacks in there as well. Just really do as much output as possible. And I think the Dryads want to go a little bit bigger as well. Like, 16 of them with a Branch Wraith is like a mid-sized durable unit. And the Deepwood Scouts, I would like, if we're going for it, let's go for 12 and then find 5 points to cut somewhere else. Now, I don't know what 5 points we cut, because these are pretty difficult to do so. Could maybe drop the Glade Knight. I think that's maybe the least important unit we've got here. And I'd maybe be tempted to go True Flight Arrows instead, actually. So that would free up the points as well, because this unit's always going to be moving and shooting. And then we just need to think about what to do with this wizard, because I actually think level 4 Lore of the Wilds isn't doing much. I feel like you were taking it for the Dirthu's Wrath value, but I just think the reality is that's not going to do as much as you want. There's a lot of matchups where it doesn't do anything. So maybe it's just elementalism, but is elementalism getting you there? Because you've got decent AP anyway, so maybe it's not elementalism. Is it battle magic? Is it high magic? No. Okay, so Walk Between Worlds gets you no value. I would like some screening units as well. If we're doing the dumb triple Wild Riders, like, I think it is very reasonable to run at least 2 beast packs like so. We'll think about the points in a second. Like, maybe the Glade Guard drop, honestly. Although we could go back down a little bit in terms of the Dryads. Just go to 13 and then drop. Yeah. Maybe the solution is just be like, how many points have we got? 32 here. And we drop the Heartwood Pendant. Like, is it better just to go Oaken Stave and have the defensive capabilities here? Is that going to be more useful for you? 17 War Dancers means either open order or getting into trouble with coherency when charging, getting line of sight of half of them. Yeah, I think I see this unit being more valuable as like a big open order unit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like 2 units of War Dancers. I just think that the smaller units, like, I feel like they're so good that I want to build around them. Like, that is where I'm at with them. Maybe I'm wrong with that, and I need to test that out. But yeah, I do see them as more likely being 2 units of War Dancers. 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 2 units of War an open order unit. So maybe that Banner of Swirling Winds becomes more important, honestly. Yeah. Okay. Well, that takes us to the end. How long through the stream were we? Roughly 2 hours 15-ish in for discussion. Yeah. Something like that is interesting, I think. No. I'm afraid it's coming up 11 o'clock, and as much as it's fun, hold on, let me turn this back on since I'm still talking. As much as it's fun to keep doing this, I am really running myself ragged, given that I've been putting out, there's been 2 uploads every day since it came out on Tuesday. So I'm going to take a break tomorrow. I'm going to put something interesting, like long form, up, maybe another army breakdown on Sunday. And then I think Monday video, Tuesday stream, Wednesday, Thursday video, Friday stream, playing an event over the weekend, so I won't be uploading there because I probably won't have time, and then maybe back to a more regular upload schedule where I want to do one to 2 videos a week and then 1 to 2 streams a week. Ideally 2 streams and 1 video, I think, is the better balance there going forwards as well. But yeah, that's very kind of you to say, Cthulhu. That's very kind of you to say. But yeah, it's been great. It's nice to be back and doing Fix My List with interesting lists as opposed to the older, the videos like in the last couple of months in the run up to the FAQ where people were putting some interesting stuff in there, but it was a little bit more difficult to find enthusiasm for it, honestly, because we were just looking at the same stuff. So it's really cool that we're getting to build around with new stuff. Thank you all for coming in, and I'm going to see you next week. There'll be some sort of stream on Tuesday, probably, assuming I can line up a guest. But there'll be almost certainly a Fix My List on Friday, unless I'm still painting models. That's the one exception. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to start building, because I haven't built a single dwarf, and I need to do so. So have a great weekend all, and I will see you on the flip